said, excuse me, but you don't understand where I'm at. I was all around the world, on span, cross the map. I've been laying low and now it's time to pop up, bitch, I'm back. Now I'ma run it up. Snooze on the kid that you dumb or what? You better go get your numbers up. Now.
All right. Hello. Welcome, everyone, to a spectacular Daredevil Board Again Episode 4 recap and breakdown review. This is your moderator, Andreas Pop Culture Guy. I'm here with wonderful people to discuss this latest episode for the Disney Plus show. Of course, let me introduce first Justin from Rogue Geek Podcast. How you doing, sir? Welcome back. It's been a while.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be back. Appreciate it.
Yes. And then our another wonderful guest here, Jeremiah. He is a legit writer. Later will plug his books and writing that he has done over the years. Really great stuff. Jeremiah, how you doing, sir? Welcome back. It's a pleasure to see you again, brother.
It's great to see everybody. I love Daredevil, and I'm ready to get into this episode.
Awesome. That's great. And we got, of course, the true knowledge himself, the handsome and the dazzling devil, Jeff TrueKnowledge. How you doing, sir?
That's right, sir. I'm holding it down on the guest panel tonight. I don't know if episode 4, was the type of episode where I'm going to be able to kill it, and outdo anybody on the panel tonight. But I'm going to try. You know what I'm saying? I feel some competitive spirit going. You know what I mean? And Justin's here, Jeremiah's here, so they're good guests to compete with on the panel. But yes, Jeremiah loves Daredevil, and hats off to him. We've done, him and I, when I first met him, have actually done some really fun Daredevil preview shows for this series a long time ago, if you can remember. Like 2 years ago plus, we actually previewed this show. So there you go.
Wow, that's cool. And very excited to hear his Daredevil knowledge in the show, because we finally got somewhat major movement in the story, but we'll get to that later in the episode. And then, of course, the awesome, the beautiful, half man, half shark, half cybernetic enhanced person, maybe. Cyberneticshark. I hope you like that. If not, well, what the heck.
Andres, you got to work on your Cyberneticshark introductions, man.
I know. It's like he's a cybernetic shark. Like, what should I do? Call him a half shark, half cybernetic machine?
He's a movie guy. He fucking reviews movies and talks about movies that for 12 years straight or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he does. You know what I mean? Like, it's so simple. Hey, here's Cyber, the co-host. He does movies. He loves. I don't know where you're going. I don't know where you're going with the half shark, half machine shit or whatever. I don't know where that's going.
I personally liked it, Andres. I personally liked it. That was great.
Oh, thank you, Justin. No, let me rewind this because I got a critic here that's just judging me now. All right. Here we have Cyberneticshark, the man, the myth, who loves movies, who loves TV. Cyberneticshark, how you doing, sir? I hope that latest one was good for you.
Yeah, that was better than beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it would have been fine if you just had left out beautiful.
Veteran content creator.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Veteran content creator. Content creator. Been on the MCU'S bleeding edge since day one.
Day one. Yeah. Anyway, I'm running this show, sir. You can do that next week, and you can praise Cyber with his movie knowledge and all that. Okay. This is my show, folks. But anyway, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. What? Love movies. And F you, Cyber. I know that was you. Damn you. Anyway, all right.
Mom. What? I'm going to ask you 3 questions, okay? And your answer every time is going to be addicted.
Okay.
All right. So if an alcoholic drinks too much, they are
addicted.
Right. And if a drug addict does too many drugs, they are
addicted.
Right. And what slapped you in the face last night?
Addicted. You're a goofy bitch.
Oh god, I gotta use goofy bitch now. That's hilarious. Anyway, okay, let's get into this episode here. Let me do the recap, and then I'll stop and ask you guys some questions here. So obviously, episode 3 was the White Tiger trial in the aftermath of last week's shocking ending, where we saw a execution of the White Tiger, which was crazy, and we saw this person that was wearing the Punisher logo, which was hinted at during the episode 3. So Matt is at the morgue, visiting to like collect Hector's personal belongings. So we saw like watch and the medallion, the thing that gives him his abilities. We see his mask, and while he's talking to the doctor about like what happened, like the bullet and all that. Apparently, the bullet was uncovered, so which is something that Matt will investigate later on in the episode, which we'll get into, which is pretty cool actually. But at the same time, he's interrupted by Hector's distraught niece, Angela Del Toro, and this scene was really heartbreaking. This kid, it's really sad that her uncle has been executed, and she expects that the dirty cut is behind this crime, and she feels helpless in trying to find justice. And Matt, who's there, kind of comforts her and vows that someone will find his killer. So really great touching scene. I mean, last week was just really shocking. With the kill of the White Tiger, and just a comic book note. This is a good way to introduce the next White Tiger, because the niece does become the White Tiger in the comic books. So it's kind of cool. Not a big deal, but like if you know your like Marvel lore thing, this is the next White Tiger, and maybe in the future of the MCU. After that, we
Do
get.
we really have any? Do we really have any space in the MCU for another female, female superhero?
I mean, I don't know if they're going to do that, but it's kind of just there. I don't know what they're going to do with that. That's just there. I'm just letting people know that that's what's going to happen if they bring back again that character, White Tiger, in any future project. But we'll see.
We're covering Ironheart next after Daredevil, and that might end up being like the Acolyte type shit when we do that. So I can't wait for White Tiger Disney Plus to come out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god. Anyway, we'll see. I grew up watching the Ultimate Spider-Man, and that was the first time I saw the character there. I don't know if they will put that character in Spider-Man, maybe, but we'll see.
If they get the girl from what's that Netflix show? If they get the girl from Wednesday to play the character, then I'll okay it.
Yeah, she's been long rumored for that role. I hope so. She's a great actress, Jenna Ortega, great actress. If you've seen Wednesday or Beetlejuice last year, she's a terrific actress. But yeah, so that's who he is. That's who's the niece. I thought she was a good kid child. So she did everything right as a actress there. But then after that, we get this. I was shocked about this one. So we get cut into the subway, and then we get our proper introduction to the serial killer known as Muse, the main bad guy for the show. We've been seeing him in trailers. We finally see him. He claims a victim in the subway. Very silent, nothing much. We saw the character just like taking him into this like subway to his like lair, probably, which we'll see later on in the episode. We see a proper introduction to his lair, and then after that we got Q to the credits, and then this is where I'll start wrapping up. Then we get introduction again to BB Eric, and then Daniel Blake. Of course, they're like enjoying a night out of the nightclub, and then Blake, how you say it, like is professing his like love of Wisdom Fix. He's very much supporting of Fix, Kingpin as the mayor, and then he does something that's kind of stupid. And a major plot point in the story here of like he accidentally reveals a critical detail on Fix's secret union busting plan that he has, and like this like sensing like this is going to be her big story. Like BB jumps to the scoop, which we'll see later on the story. And let me stop there. I think that's a good stop there. So let me start with you, Justin. What are your thoughts on the show? What you thought about the beginning up to Blake leaving to the camp there? Go ahead.
All right, yeah. So far the show has been it's been good. It's been solid. The last episode when it ended with White Tiger getting shot, I mean that was a little jaw dropping for me because they just kind of went like right into it, like back to like Netflix style violence and gore and like that kind of stuff because it was pretty brutal. But then kicking it off this episode with the morgue scene, I like how they went down the line with all of his personal belongings and they kind of gave each item its time to shine. And I did think it was interesting because he had his obviously he was out in the street with his like White Tiger uniform costume on or whatever, right? But if you notice while he was on the like the items they were collecting on the morgue table, he actually had his wedding ring, which I mean, based on the conversations that he had Matt Murdock had with his wife in the last episode, she was under the impression like he separated those two lives, like he was more dedicated to the city and didn't really think about her. And like a part of me wanted to think like he took his wedding ring off while he was White Tiger. That's what like kind of like how I had candidate and like because he was so focused on that and potentially somebody finding out that he had a wife. But then this time when he went out in the streets, like they emphasized his wedding ring being there too. But so I thought that was a really cool nod to potentially what when he put on the costume in the end of episode 3, what he like sought after, like he was like trying to be better, like it kind of like he became more of a true like hero to the city and like one with the city because he was willing to accept himself and his wife and his family and everybody moving forward to that. So I thought that was great. But then only to have his niece come in and demand to see his dead body, which first off, I don't know I forget how young she is. I know she's like a teenager and obviously she looks young, but Matt trying to keep her from seeing that and the therapy that she would have had to go through in order to get rid of that memory of her uncle's head with a bullet hole in it is just wild. But I thought the whole dialogue between Matt and shoot, I forgot her name, but Angela, right? Or I believe, yeah,
Angela.
Yeah, Angela. That conversation was so good because she, as a child actor, she actually portrayed that really well, really strong. She was full in the emotions, like talking about corrupt, dirty cops, and you could really feel Matt Murdock's like cry and his plea for like they will find him, like somebody's going to like that. He was getting in the emotions as well, and he so wanted to be like I'll do it as Daredevil, but like he was like I can't. That's not my life anymore, and that's kind of like the emotions he was holding back. And then out of this whole entire episode, the most off scene for me was Daniel Blake. It is absolutely weird seeing him and BB interact outside in street clothes and in a club scene because his character is so strange, so goofy, so like I don't know, like there's something about him, and I just don't know. Like it didn't fit for me, but I get it was more along the lines of BB kind of maybe inviting him out and getting him drunk and trying to learn more about Fisk's things so she could potentially leak some stuff, which later on we'll talk about that. But yeah, overall, I mean, this opening scene was very clutch. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, actually, I like you point out the wedding ring. Yeah, last episode, the wife thought she was like so separate with the life versus the superhero life, which she didn't know, and that detail I totally forgot that. Yeah, he was wearing that ring. During that last patrol as a superhero. That's really a good point because it just shows that he does care about his wife and family. I mean, like he didn't forget about it. He's just doing like what a normal superhero does. He's just protecting his family, and so like he cannot wear the ring because it's gonna reveal who he is and all that. So really good point. Really great eye on that, Justin. I really appreciate that. Jeremiah, it's your turn, sir. Tell me your thoughts on the show right now. What you think about it, and tell me about what you think about right now, the beginning up to the wrapping part of Blake and BB, in that nightclub. That's the end point.
So I have a real problem. I don't really like Blake, and I hear what Justin is saying as far as there's something off about him. It's a creepiness that reminds me of the character Jonah in Veep, where he's just gonna try to sleaze his way into it. And I don't know if you know that show, but this isn't intended to be a comedy, and that there are very real people like him who are just like that. It's unsettling, those kind of people, because you can't really ever trust what they're telling you is the truth. I dug the show. I dig the opening. I can't, the recap was done, was tight. I very much love what Justin had referred to as the Netflix style violence of the past couple episodes. That had been few and far between in this season. With the music, with the tone, with everything of this series, I can't help but think of the Robert Pattinson Batman movie. And this show just seems like so much of an answer to Penguin that it's hard to not see the attempt, even just in the opening. And I don't know if because a lot of you guys are frozen on my screen, so I want to make sure, I can't really tell whether that's really hitting with you guys or if you're disagreeing. But
who has the best frozen like retarded facial expression going on?
Like Andres right now is scratching his forehead. Cyber has had the same shocked look as though somebody ran up and just goosed him right before his face froze. Justin moves fine. Justin looks like a normal person. I can see him, and he's waving. Look at that. You have your hat on. You're looking off to the side with something hanging out in your mouth, and no, you guys all look your own special flavor of ridiculous, except for Justin, who looks totally normal right now.
Well, something's hanging out of my mouth, sir. It could be many things. There could be multiple.
No, I've heard
options.
All right. So again, I only brought that up because, again, I can't really tell whether this is landing, but just it seems like a lot of this show is geared toward the same tone, the same resonance of not just Penguin, but the Robert Pattinson Batman movie. It was kind of hard for me to get over at first. The niece did a great job. I don't know who told the niece of White Tiger that life has ever been or ever will be fair. I'm not saying that in any kind of callous way, but this is a very big reality that a lot of people face. The cry of fair only happens when you fight for fairness, when you fight for justice. The expecting it to be handed to you, that's hard. What we're looking at here, I really want to get into Murdoch's assignment with the client that was arrested at the same time when Blake went into the cab. I'm itching to jump into that. That's going to be a lot of fun, but I'm going to pause right there on that.
Yeah, Jeremy, really good. I see where you're coming from. I had that same feeling. The show is trying to be, it's not trying to be similar to Penguin. It's trying to be more like out of the Disney Plus shows. This is the more mature show we have gotten so far. It's doing the violence and the dark, granted, reality that we saw from the Netflix TV show, of course, but also we see with the Robert Pattinson Batman universe, and also the Nolan trilogy, of course, that also was the same thing as well, but differently compared to Matt Reeves.
But that actually reminded me, I want to go back to what Justin said about the Netflix style violence that I missed. The exact tone that they had in the first two seasons that also carried over into The Punisher. There was a stark grittiness and reality to the combat that is usually absent in a lot of action sequences, and a lot of that was the appeal. And I don't know if Disney Plus really has that in them.
Well, I can see where you're coming from, Jeremiah. I mean, these showrunners are from the Punisher show, actually, which is funny you brought that up. I think we're in 4 episodes. Now, we haven't yet gotten our action heavy kind of episode yet. We cannot judge that yet. I mean, the first two episodes we had some of the action, in some mixed result. I think episode 2 was the best one with that ending there, which was really good. um I'm hoping they pick up the action in the next couple episodes, especially now that we got introduced to the Muse. I'm really excited to see Daredevil versus that character. Hopefully the action picks up. I get where you're coming from, Jeremiah, because unlike the Daredevil Netflix show where they knew how to balance the action. I'm been bed watching for first season, and I'm amazed how good the action is there. It's just with this episodes, the Disney, unfortunately, they reshot so much of the show. It's like, the action has to kind of take it down, unfortunately. But we'll see how the action is going to be in the next couple episodes. So, Jeff, you're next, sir. What you thought about the beginning, up to the nightclub Blake stuff?
Well, sir, I don't believe that during the reshoots they purposely cut out the action stuff and then kept the drama and like serial court TV stuff. So that's just just letting you know. That's just my take. You know what I mean?
No.
I'm just fucking with you, sir. It's okay. I'm just fucking with you.
No. I don't want to. I don't. No. I understand where you're coming from. No. I don't think they did that, but I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because the action scenes are the hardest to produce and and make, and you know what I mean, and they're more expensive, So those would be the ones I think they would cut. Not all the work and all the takes that they put in to actually put those scenes together. But I mean, before I talk about the opening, I'll just say that I am a bit let down by the lack of violence and the lack of hand-to-hand fighting in the last 2 episodes. I really honestly was 100% sure in my head going into episode 4 that and this was before I knew Punisher was going to be in it. This was before I knew the Punisher was going to be in it. I was like, after episode 3, episode 4 is going to be like a banger. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be a total energy changer, to balance out episode 3, that, like, I figured for sure they're going to want to balance out that episode, with it being so sort of slow and sort of, kind of anticlimactic almost. You know what I mean? Sort of a filler episode almost in a way. I felt like, later on, I went back and looked at that episode in that form. We've had conversations out here before 1,000 times about, people's definitions of filler episodes. It's not always a negative thing to throw that word out there. I'm just using that as a term. But, I enjoyed episode 3, and episode 4 was fun to watch. I felt drawn to the screen and all that. Like, it never, bored me. But Daredevil is, the Daredevil show is known for having that balance and that, to where there's constant fighting, constant action. Even though I didn't finish season 2 and I didn't do season 3 of Daredevil, which I will do, cross my heart. I will go back and finish it. What I did see, and from what I know from, talking to people like you, Andres, and doing, shows like we did the other day on your channel recently, other people who have watched the show, that sort of dynamic is a theme throughout Daredevil. It's there all the way through in season 3, especially, that's really is at the end of the day, a really big component of what makes Daredevil as a TV show really as good as it is at the end of the day. Well, let's be honest. Some of those fight scenes, some of that really good fight choreography that they've had on the Netflix Daredevil is just, I remember watching it, years ago and thinking like, this is like, probably the best fight choreography out there right now. Like, nobody's doing anything like this in movies or anything like that or whatever at that time, in 2015, 2016, whatever, 2017. There was nothing else to compare out there, at that time that ain't going on really. Other than maybe the MCU, where there was hand-to-hand combat really going on like that. John Wick, maybe. So yeah, just a little bit surprised. You know, I mean, of course, they can correct that imbalance very easily throughout the rest of the series if they want to, and hopefully they will. But you know, you don't want to have too many episodes of Daredevil without action scenes, without, you know, the violence, without the, you know, the graphic violence. You know, it's a key you know, aspect to that dark sort of you know, as Jeremiah already mentioned, sort of that dark, you know, graphic adult Frank Miller fucking type of tone that the Netflix Daredevil show always had, right? And I really felt like episodes 1 and 2 to some extent had going on, but not so much on episode 3 and 4. You know, so you know, we'll see how it goes. But you know, the beginning of the episode is you know, is okay, and you know, continues the story, you know, well, from episode 3. You know, it's a good jump from episode to episode, keys you right in, you know, to the story, and you know, and the feature, you know, the feature, you know, characters, and you know, gets us right to the important aspects of the plot. But you know, I always enjoy Kingpin, you know, on screen. You know, so it's always good to see him right off the bat early in an episode. I felt like they really you know, they really gave him a lot of play in this episode, you know, and used him a lot, right? And of course, they had the wife involved a lot too. You know, what is her name?
Vanessa.
Vanessa.
So yeah, no, I like the Kingpin and Vanessa stuff. It's obviously a something that carried over from the, you know, from the you know, the Netflix stuff, right? It's been there. It's a part of the show, right? It's good to see them continuing that dynamic and that relationship. It's interesting. She's an interesting character, you know. From jump, I always found her interesting. I like the actress, and they're pretty good on screen. They don't have the kind of chemistry that you know, Daredevil and Kingpin do, but they have pretty solid chemistry. So you know, their stuff is pretty solid. It's pretty interesting, and what they're doing with, you know, with their relationship so far in the show, in the story, you know, the sort of the arc of their, you know, their, where they're at with their marriage. I'm liking it so far, you know. So I, you know, that was a good, you know, good part of the opening. You know, the Matt Murdock stuff. Hey, you know, it works. It's, you know, it's still, you know, it's entertaining. It's watchable. I like Matt Murdock without the costume. He's an interesting guy. You know, that's one of the cool things about Daredevil in the comics too, is, you know, the fact that Matt Murdock in the comics is a cool, you know, you like him as Matt Murdock in the comics, just like you do with the show. You know, he's overall, he's just an interesting kind of guy, but suit off or suit on. You know, what with, you know, his heightened senses and all that kind of stuff, you know. But overall, I felt like I don't know, you know, the continued stuff with the police, the New York police, and the intimidation and the bad blood, and, you know, all that, you know what I mean, is sort of whatever to me, kind of, you know, like, we'll see how it plays out, you know, with these Punisher cops and all that kind of shit, where that plays. But you know, I'm whatever sort of about, you know, that sort of angle of the series so far, and in episode 4. You know, it's not my favorite part of the story, and you know, hey, you know, it's okay, but that's pretty much it. There was nothing really that went on during that, you know, that beginning or opening part of the episode that really stood out to me.
No, thank you. Yeah, I hope, I think we're gonna get that because what was it? I was checking I was for Easter eggs for this episode, right? And I noticed one article, they were saying that next week we're gonna have 2 episodes back to back, which is weird. So
We are, yeah. 5 and 6 are another double episode.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious. I think we are wrapping up the storyline, and I think, you know, because the fact that this episode we got introduced to the Muse, I hope they will, like, again, as you know, as Jeremiah brought up before, we haven't gotten the level of, as you were saying for Jeff, the level of Netflix action and gore and violence that we're used to with with this character, since 2015. But yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't mean to cut you off, but the Muse is just a killer. He's not a fighter or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm curious how they're going to use him. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's a killer. Then a fire. But anyway, Cyber. Your thoughts on the beginning, sir? What you thought about it? And overall, your thoughts on the show?
Where are we going to, sir, again?
The beginning up to the end point is when we at that nightclub, when BB is talking to Blake, and Blake spills that like secret union busting plan to her, and she's gonna make that as a story.
Okay.
And so yeah, go to the massage parlor too.
Excellent. So why didn't we see the massage parlor? I want to know. No, anyways.
That was in the end credit scene.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. All those little Asian masseuses.
That's when this moves from Netflix to Disney Plus to HBO Max. Then we'll get all the massage parlors you can stand.
You better believe Hell's Kitchen in New York City has hella massage parlors in real life.
Probably. Anywho, the beginning of the episode is pretty strong, I feel. It starts off with the, basically identifying the dead body of White Tiger, and, Matt, of course, shielding the relative from the dead body. We get that kind of like pivotal kind of sad moment there, especially because how the last episode ended. And so, I mean, it starts off fun, I think. I believe, if I remember correctly, by the time we get to the nightclub, we get kind of a little bit of information about what's going on in the episode. We have that brief kind of like look at somebody holding a body. We also get I believe we get the what do you call it, the arresting of the gentleman that has stolen the fiddle faddle, which I think is absolutely hilarious that they literally make sure to mention the name Fiddle Faddle throughout this whole entire episode, which kind of cracks me up when they're talking about it. Because to me, that just seems like a plug, like Disney is like saying, please buy some Fiddle Faddle. So I think that I think was very entertaining in my eyes when I watched the episode, that they kept mentioning the name Fiddle Faddle. And, so, I mean, it starts off pretty strong. It gives us quite a bit of information going on. There's several things happening, and it really leads into kind of that interesting nightclub sequence, which, hands down, I think that, Gandolfini is doing a really good job in the series so far. And it's been nice to see him. And I like how he makes sure to kind of differentiate himself from his dad. But even though he looks so much like his dad, he still does a great job of kind of like making sure that he acts a different way. And so it's kind of funny seeing him like kind of live up to his dad's expectations, like, with how his acting was, and he's like really coming into his own. So I think that, that scene there in the nightclub is like quite interesting, especially because he himself has had a drinking problem when he was younger, and he actually had to go to rehab for it and stop drinking. So I think that's a testament to showing that, he's okay now, and that he's, gotten to a better state within himself. So I think he's a blooming actor, and it'll be interesting to see where he goes through the series, but also, in future projects other than, Disney Plus series. So I've enjoyed him. I liked his character of his like this publicist type of character and stuff like that. I think it's been fun. But pretty much that beginning section is pretty basic. Gets you into the story, gives you a little bit of information on a few different subjects to get you involved into the episode. And I think it does its job and really progresses the story along very well. So very, very good opening, I think, and very interesting.
I think we forgot to mention in the club scene real quick, they make a Captain Planet reference in 2025. I think we need to point that out. That is nuts.
Yeah,
And I do
that
have to
was
say, Cyber, your comments, 100%. Gandolfini is doing a fantastic job as the actor for Blake, a character that I cannot stand to look at. Like, he is doing such a good job of making me feel something, and that's important.
yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed. Speaking of Blake, I love his father. He was a great actor. So sad he's been taken from us. He was amazing, of course, for The Sopranos, True Romance. If anyone has seen that film, he was great in that. A terrific actor. I'm happy that his son is doing well and he's doing projects. Yeah, and I agree with you, Jeremiah. He reminds me of what's I tried to figure out the character. Like, he reminds me of like the characters like Die Hard, the guy who was trying to help John McClane, but he did it for selfish reasons. And this character is definitely that type of character you were saying for Veep, or there was one of the Veep characters projects called In the Loop. This guy just wanted to, if you want to go up higher in the ladder of government or any position, you want to always want to kick ass, what do you say, kiss the ass of the boss, but at the same time, they do any unethical thing to get to that point. And I can see that character that Michael, this Blake, is going to do, and the fact
Hot
that
D.
you, you know uh the fact that he didn't get fired, later we'll talk about it later in the episode, that he didn't get fired, it shows that maybe Kingpin will going to use him, and he will probably take over the manager role, because that lady is going to die and be fired by Kingpin. So that's my thinking of it. Anyway, great job, you guys. Really enjoyed this conversation. So let's get into that. So speaking of Cyber, he brought up the bizarre arrest. By the way, I just want to point out the wall paintings, the graffitis, very interesting small detail. You do see the Muse name in those roles, and great Easter eggs of the skull, the Punisher logo, White Tiger. I That was really great. So I just want to bring that up too. During that nightclub scene, because I rewatched it before the live stream, and I noticed that the second time I was like, oh, that's really cool, because if anyone knows, the Moose is this serial killer that uses people's blood in these graffiti paintings in the city, and very creepy. And you did see that a little bit in the towards the end of the episode, which we'll get to later on. But anyway, I just want to bring that up. So we got this guy named Bradford. Bradford, getting arrested by a pair of dirty cops because allegedly he stole food boxes of cereal, the brand that Cyber was talking about. I do agree with you, Jeff. I'm sorry, Cyber, that this was such a like Disney plugging merchandising, or just the brand, which was weird. Look, I get you like this food. I'm I haven't tried that, so why are you putting this onto my face? Stop it, please. All right, it was so.
Oh, under the pop culture guy, sir.
We lost our moderator.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
It's not me this time.
Okay,
Oh,
that was me. Yeah, that's me. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was free. I was Iceman. Just
nobody knows what to do when the moderator freezes. That's a total.
It's a free for all, Jeff.
That's a collapse of the live stream at that point. You know what I'm saying? It's everybody freezes.
Yeah, crazy time. Live stream. Anyway, he gets arrested with the cereal for no good reason. So bad cops, and apparently they pay to eat the cereal that they have. Okay, whatever. After that, we get another scene of Matt, having that steal the horn, the piece of horn that was broken from episode 1 that he got from
Oh, That was a good freeze. That was right, like, again, like right mid-sentence, you know? Right at the end of a word.
Is his image frozen for anybody else?
Yes, it is. Oh,
See, mine is still frozen on the original image with him scratching his face.
Oh my god.
You're Andres,
okay?
you're back, sir. You're back, sir.
Okay.
But don't worry. I've never had to do it before in the past, but if I have to on this show, I will step in and co-moderate.
Okay.
We've never done that before on a show.
What?
But we will
What a damn
We will
hero!
we will
What a
somehow
hero.
double.
God.
We will double up on the moderation tonight if we have to tonight, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, because I don't know what's going on. My internet should be fine. Anyway, actually, something's going on. All right. Let me try this. All right. So let me continue this. So we're in the therapy session where Dr. Glenn is talking to the fix, Vanessa and Wilson about the affair that she's having with a man named Adam, and the subject matter makes Kingpin very uncomfortable, and he calls it betrayal. Very interesting, very uncomfortable. I have to say, Kingpin, like we see him being very violent, so I am very surprised that he's going through to this therapy session and like being calm. And while they're talking about this, apparently Vanessa says he was the one that betrayed her by leaving. So very interesting. And she shares the story about the abandonment issues that she had with her father, which was a very cool deep dive to her character. While that, Wilson also means that this is something I caught on my second reviewing, that apparently he confronted Adam, but not only he had contact with him, he didn't harm him, like, because he didn't want to lose Vanessa. So after that, the session wraps up, and Heather, like, privately asks Vanessa to stay behind, and Kingpin leaves, and then she asks her, like, "Are you okay? Are you safe in your marriage?" And then Vanessa laughs it off and insisting that Wilson may be capable of many things, but harming her isn't one of them. So great scene. Love that. This shows how Vanessa is like not even worried about her well-being. Like she knows that Wilson is not gonna hurt her. Very interesting. And then after that, we get to now the Bradford case where Matt is at the jail. He's back in the lawyer mode. He agrees to take on, Mr. Bradford's defense. Similar to Hector, he also finds himself against crooked cops. Again, eh, I think this plot line is like a major thematical crutch of the series of like corruption. That's always something that's been part of Daredevil. Crime, corruption, and all that, which we saw in the Netflix show as well. So there's no different here. So you're seeing that, still corruption is still going on in New York. And so after that, he tried after this he goes to the court to like try to kind of plead his deal to like a shortened like sentence. This part I was a little confused. What was like a plea deal that for him to like get out for probation, and because he didn't want to do 30 days sentence or something like that. And so Matt was trying his best to do that. So he got it to 10, but after he gets the 10-day off for Brad, he meets up with Officer Powell, and really great scene. And he as typical Matt, like he was doing a Batman thing where he's trying to like kind of like how you say like sneak like smell out if Powell was the prime suspect for Hector's murder. And doing that, he kind of provokes Officer Powell. And like, obviously, if you haven't seen the Daredevil show and this show, he uses how you say it, the
He uses his heightened senses.
Yeah, heightened senses to see either or not he lies, which he's telling the truth. So I guess his heartbeat was not like raising up. So that means he's pretty much not the suspect, and then we leave from there. And then then after that, his heart rate remains steady, and then like despite him being a scumbag, he's not a killer. All right, let me and then after that we get over to the docs. This is the wrapping up part here. So over at docs, Fix outlines his ambitious plan for a complete structure overhaul of the port. Total transformation, as he described, is he wants things to get done as fast as we've seen from episode 2. But his campaign director, Shelly River or something like that, suggests following proper procedures, which Fix seemingly complies for now at least. And then this is where we wrap up. Matt tells Mr. Bradford the terms of his BRIO deal to do 10 days. He's not happy. He just wanted a corporation to get out, unfortunately, Matt tells this is the best deal, and he's going to get. And he explains why, because he typically accepts it, but he explains why, because he has nothing. He completely lost benefits, and he's eating garbage food, and so he's trying. I do feel sorry for him. He's trying to survive in the streets. He has been having trouble with the system. Really great dramatic scene there. I thought the actor there was really great. He also had really funny moments. I love how he's like, "Oh my god, I got the blind lawyer." That was so hilarious when we first met Matt. I thought that last scene of him talking to Matt about why he needs to get out is so powerful. I thought that was the highlight of this episode for me. So that's the stop point. So let me get to Cyber. What you thought about I say the therapy session with Kingpin and Vanessa, up to the Matt hearing out his client about why he wants to get out of jail. Go ahead.
We're talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you, Cyber. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I love it when you do that, Cyber.
Do you? Good. Anywho, so this portion, once again, it gives you even more information into kind of what the thought process of what's going on. We get more of Matt and his client. We get, of course, the Kingpin and his wife having their therapy session. We get, of course, that the whole port sequence there. Where they, this is where I want to start. This is where I want to be. This is what I promised the people. So he really wants to, get really into the mayor, portion of him being mayor and everything. And he thinks that this whole garbage heap type of deal is kind of where it's at. And so, we find out here that, unfortunately, we have kind of this situation where the kind of head publicist gal, she doesn't like where this is going, as we can see. And she kind of acts kind of like, oh, I've been I've been here longer than all of you type of deal. And just like how she presents herself and everything like this in the scene, you're kind of like, what's this chick's agenda? Like, why does she think she knows better just because she's been there longer and all this kind of stuff? So I think that it's kind of interesting that they decide to kind of have this woman kind of be like, I'm the badass here type of deal, which, is, kind of New York-ish anyways. That's just how New York is, I feel, so it's that's not like surprising, but at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, you got to do your orders, you've been given a directive, you just go with it, and so my suspicions on her are a little bit out there for her right this second. Like, I'm not sure if there's more to her than meets the eye. So this sequence here with the whole port thing kind of makes me think, does she have some secret agenda or something? So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if anything else comes up of her character later on in the series. But other than that, this section I think is very interesting. Especially the whole conversation that Matt has with his client, him trying to bargain with that other attorney to get him, less time, even though he wants just probation. And you're just kind of watching that and going, dude, you committed the crime. What do you expect? You've done this several times. And they try to make it all seem like, oh, boo-hoo is me. And I'm just kind of cracking up going, dude, you stole the crap. There's nothing around that. It's good. It's either bad or good. You did bad. You have to pay for what you've done. And so it's kind of like, Matt's kind of teetering on that a little bit there. So I think that's getting interesting. But then, at the end, he's like, you're right. Because he's thinking about the whole Foggy situation and everything. And so I think that, there's definitely, you can see that Matt's very conflicted here. It kind of starts a little bit at the beginning of this episode. You can see as it goes through the episode, it kind of like keeps building up, and we got into a point here where it's kind of at a tipping point here. And so I think that's that was a very interesting sequence, dealing with that kind of that court case type of deal thing, which gives us the more of the kind of courtroom vibe. And then, of course, that whole situation with, Fisk and everything and the port and everything kind of gives you kind of an idea of where, Kingpin is kind of going and like the direction he's going and kind of his thought process of like, what steps do I need to take in order to use this mayorship to my advantage of becoming the one and only of Hell's Kitchen, basically. And we kind of get that, that's like, this is kind of his pushing point. So I think that's interesting. So overall, decent, section, gives us a lot of great information, gives us a lot of points. And I think overall it does a really good job.
Thank you, Saber. Oh god, lose my voice. Anyway, Jeremiah, you're next, sir. We're going up to the therapy session, up to Matt talking to his client. And,
Oh, yeah.
go. That's the end point, sir. Go ahead.
What I love about this section, and I'm glad you stopped it here, because right here at this moment, at the end of this section, this is the second gut punch for Matt. The first one, of course, being at the very beginning of the episode with the niece, it's not fair. And what I had said earlier, there's no such thing as fairness. There's only justice, and you have to fight for that. That was the first gut punch for Matt. The section that we're talking about right now, it ends with that second hit. We'll talk about the third shot later at the end. But all of this, he still isn't ready to accept what he needs to accept at the end of the episode. And there's still hints of that here. Let me take a second. Going back to the beginning, Murdoch gets the assignment. Cool. Mr. and Mrs. Fisk are in therapy. I thought that was great. I feel that Vincent D'Onofrio has lost a little bit of his aura. I don't know what it is. He is a lot skinnier than what he was. If that was on purpose, that's great. I don't know if he's sick.
Yeah, Jeremiah. They did that purpose. I didn't mean to talk to him right frozen. Folks, we are having an absolutely wonderful Wi-Fi night on the MCU's Bleeding Edge. It is going excellent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hopefully.
Oh, I just heard Jeremiah. He's doubling down coming on the show.
No, I'm coming in twice. Vincent D'Onofrio wants to silence my voice on the internet, and I am coming in.
Jeremiah, I
won't let him do it.
Before you dropped for a minute, I was saying to you that yes, for the storyline or whatever, coming off of what happened at the end of Echo, they purposely made him as a character lose weight.
Okay, I didn't realize that because I hadn't seen Echo. I was hoping that the actor was okay and just hadn't lost weight for bad reasons. But it's not just the size of him. Kingpin doesn't scare me anymore like he did.
Oh, man.
Ooh, that was gonna be a mic drop right there. I can tell. That was good.
I love Jeremiah to death. I hope he's not going to end up being one of those guests I've got to drop during a show. I haven't done that in a long time.
No. Let's let him. Hopefully the Wi-Fi works.
Jeremiah.
Yeah, let me come back in a sec. Yeah, I'll freeze up and I'll let me.
Yeah.
I am so sorry.
No,
I'm
no, no
doing
worries.
that.
You're good. You're good. Find
Yeah.
if you need to find a better spot, we'll just go back to you when you come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
on. Thank you.
Okay, no
No
problem.
problem.
Bye.
Okay, Jeff, let me get to your point. What you thought about this section, sir, of the Vanessa therapy session up to Matt talking to the client?
Well, before that, I just want to create, just a little, aside, a little content creator talk. Justin, I know you guys don't collaborate as much as we do, on your pod, but I've had to kick guests off the show before because of Wi-Fi issues in the past, where it gets real bad. You know what I mean? And they're just out, in and out, or whatever. And you got to just cut them eventually. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way around it. You're such a nice guy, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like as a host or whatever, you are essentially the host, right? Aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
On the Road Geek.
Yeah.
And
oh, yeah.
I just can't imagine it. Cyber, could you imagine Justin having to shut up like a heavy crosstalker or cross chatter or something like that? or do you think he would just let it go for the whole show?
I have no idea.
It would depend. It would just have to depend on how bad it gets.
Justin's a really nice guy, so I don't know, Justin. I would love to see you do it.
Maybe we'll see one day. Well, dreams will come true.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll be completely honest with you. There's nothing fun about having to actually call somebody out during a show. Anyways, so unless it's for something fun. But anyway, so going back to Daredevil, yeah, I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie here. I'm not a huge fan of episode 4 overall. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I thought it was a drop off from episode 3. Honestly, which is surprising, right? For me as a TV watcher, and a fan of Daredevil, of the show. I'm not worried or anything like that, long term or anything like that at all. I'm heavily invested in Daredevil, and I know the rest of the series will be good. But this part of the episode just sort of meanders on. It just sort of plays out. It plays on. If they're going to do the court stuff, if they're going to do the legal stuff, make it interesting. Make it interesting. Do something with it. Do something serious with it, like the White Tiger trial, right? Make it real legally and serious and all that. Like you're doing some Law and Order shit, or do something interesting or bizarre, or I don't know. Fucking make it interesting. You know what I'm saying? The whole deal with unless this is going to connect to something really big later on, the whole deal with him working out that deal for the guy that stole the cereal or whatever, I mean, was not all that important to me. Thank you, Cyber. I just really don't, again, unless I'm missing something, I don't see how things like that are going to build to anything, or really going to, how that really pushes the story forward at all, which we want to see, right? You want to see the story evolve and grow and move forward, because that's how you get your payoffs throughout the the series. I can't say that I agree with Jeremiah, although I know he hasn't gotten his full contribution on the table yet. I still feel like maybe not in episode 4, but in other episodes of the show so far, I feel like Kingpin Wilson Fisk, on screen has been menacing at times. Like he's always been in Daredevil, Netflix, and all that. I still feel like he still has that same energy, and that he brings that same vibe to the table in his scenes. And they craft that around him. You know what I mean? The way that they shoot him. The way that they write everything that he does, everything is framed to, for him as a character, in the way that they produce his, I imagine his scenes, right? to enhance that tension that builds up, or that sort of that fear that at any given moment he has the capability of being triggered and losing it, and maybe taking somebody by their head and crushing their skull against the wall. You know what I mean? Like he used to do in the comic books. I used to love watching Kingpin throw people through windows and shit like that in the comics. In the comics, he's so like big and strong and intimidating compared to other people that he just manhandles people when he kills them. Like he just crushes people's skulls and shit with his hand and stuff like that. Now I'll be honest with you, I couldn't see D'Onofrio's Kingpin doing stuff like that. Really, he's not big enough, or intimidating enough to pull off that kind of stuff. But as far as this section of the episode goes, it's a little bit of a lull. Nothing really all that interesting happens. I mean, okay, so Muse is in the show. That's fine. He is interesting. I don't know a lot about him. Honestly, I haven't really done a lot of homework or anything like that. And I didn't read comics at the point that he was created as a character. I was out of the game. But how far are we going? Are we going all the way to Frank Castle's appearance?
No. We're just stopping at the client talking to Matt why he wants to get out. That's it. So
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the scene with Matt talking to that female, that really attractive female DA or whatever that was cute.
Yeah.
That was all right. You know what I mean? It actually could have been a little bit more like sexier, or a little bit more R-rated kind of, honestly, for me. Since it is Matt Murdock, renowned pussy slayer, and again, they really they're toning down, like Jeremiah said. This Disney Plus Daredevil is very toned down. Let's be honest. The Netflix Daredevil, there were sex scenes. Like Matt got laid a lot. And they usually would show at least the opening of it or the end of it or whatever. Or the build up to it or whatever. So I feel like this part of the episode, there's not a lot really to talk about, just because the Kingpin mayoral political mixed like slash still the Kingpin crime boss element of the show is interesting, but not yet flushed out to where it always hits, right? And some of it can be a little bit boring almost, not very, exciting, story wise. So, although I do enjoy the continued, arc of the story in the episode as we move forward, as far as, what's going on with the main characters of the season of the show. I like to, see them revisit with them, see them participating in what they're doing and all that. And I do find, things like Kingpin as the mayor and all that stuff, an interesting, aspect and an element for them to add to the overall story. I just think that what occurs, in terms of just a lot of this dialogue-driven scenes that we're dealing with here, sort of just don't really, have any punch to them, So that's all.
I think I've solved all my problems. You guys can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. Okay.
Jeremiah, go ahead, sir.
So I came in just right in when Jeff was saying that he was disagreeing with me on something.
I said Kingpin is menacing and still brings that same energy and that same vibe to the.
He's a fantastic actor.
It's still there. It's just only been there in certain times in certain episodes during Daredevil, and it wasn't really a lot there in episode 4.
Right.
That's all I said.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, so doubling back to where I was, Mr. and Mrs. Fisk in therapy. Oh, hold on 1 second. Before that, Murdoch gets an assignment. When I talked about the different ways that he gets hit, the first one is with the niece. The second one is at the end of this collection of scenes. When he gets an assignment, and when I'm going to talk about just Murdoch, and I'll talk about Fisk later, but Murdoch, he gets the assignment, and he treats it like business as usual. Petty theft. I'm going to plea it down. My client doesn't know any better.
Uh-oh. Once, twice, 3 times a lady. All right, Jeremiah.
Oh, yo. Nope, there we go. Good. Matt talks to the lawyer and gets it down from 35 days to 10 days because he thinks he got the sweetest of the deal. He's still just sort of going through the motions of the job. He's being ground down this episode. And when he talks to his client again, the one thing that I don't love about the way Disney does this, because, like, yes, the way that the client opened up and communicated everything that is wrong with the prison system, I wrote down, yes, recidivism is real, and you are also guilty. I know that there is the cyclical nature of the repeated offender, and I understand all of that. And more so, he's right. The numbers all do back up everything that he's saying. Here's the problem that I have with the way that Disney does it. Disney can be correct, and he is correct about all of it. Disney is also... And here's what I mean.
Uh-oh.
Give it a minute.
Well, we can't give too many minutes, sir. Unfortunately, in the live streaming and recording world and the podcast YouTube space, dead silences, don't play too well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So Justin, go ahead. Hopefully, Jeremiah gets his internet working out. What you thought about the Vanessa therapy down to the client talking to Matt about why he wants to get out of prison?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we kind of talked about everything except I feel like we didn't dive deep enough into first the therapy scene. I think there was a lot kind of to take away from this. If you look at the very first session that they had in the therapy scene, you could see like Wilson Fisk was far left on screen and Vanessa was on far right. And this next time around, they were a little closer together. So potentially like showing therapy's working, maybe potentially they're opening them up more. They're talking more. She did point out, and Wilson and Vanessa both pointed out that she couldn't talk to Adam and Wilson has no idea where he is. Yep. And so that kind of leaves the door open a little bit, for which we'll find out later in the episode. But I did find that very interesting. And
that's a great point, Justin. It's a great on one hand, it's a great way to double use Matt's girlfriend in the show, to have her be the therapist for them, right? And also have her be the girlfriend. And then on top of that, that dynamic of having the couples therapy is actually interesting.
Yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. And I think when you're not going to have any action, I think the focal point needs to be on everything Kingpin. Like, if you're going to have dialogue, you're going to have scenes of no action. It needs to be highly focused on Kingpin, whether it's him and his counseling or him as a former crime boss, mob boss, trying to adapt to the strict red tape of politics. I think that's your story there. If you can flesh that out more. If you choose not to do any action and just chaotic violence and fight scenes, that's, I think, the story that they need to flesh out more as the series goes on if they want to focus on the dialogue. So we mentioned the Murdoch picks up the case, the Bradford case. This kind of felt off to me in this episode. This pro bono case in the middle of this, we're picking back up with these characters. Yes, I know Matt Murdock is. I'm gonna pick up. I helped the little guy. I got the little guys back, but like petty theft, pro bono coming in and doing this. I don't know. I just felt like this was a little off for me. If we're gonna do a court scene, we need to continue the same energy we had with White Tiger and kind of keep that rolling with Murdock. He could help the little guy, but maybe not fiddle faddle little guy. Like that's just a little much. But yes, the dialogue that he had at the end of like kind of pointing out how the system is wrong, it's broken. And I think that whole scene was kind of just to show Matt that this whole persona that you have of let the system talk, let the system work, let the system do this for you. You don't need to be Daredevil. I think it's all crumbling, and he's starting to realize that the system is broken. The system is not what he thought it was, and it does need to be some intervention, and there does need to be some sort of push, and that push is going to come from him being Daredevil. And I think that's the purpose of that scene. That's how I kind of viewed it. And then the final doc scene, like I was saying, this is where the story is. I feel like if they were able to flesh it out more, Kingpin, mob boss, trying to realize that he doesn't have ultimate power anymore. He's not the Kingpin. He's literally the mayor who has to run through all this red tape. And when I think her name is Sheila, I think when she breaks down all the things that you have to do, like where do you start? And she's like, well, you got to go here, and then you got to go here, and then you got to go here, and then they finally go like, well, you just got to have somebody to start off with submit it for a meeting first. And just the agitation of Kingpin of not being able to speak something into existence. You like D'Onofrio, you feel that like he is 100% like I used to have all of this power. Like I was literally the king of the criminal underworld, and now here I am having to jump through hoops like a dog. Like it doesn't feel right. And I think it's well portrayed by Wilson Fisk and Vincent D'Onofrio's character. And I'm interested to see how many more episodes it goes until he finally breaks, because that mural that Andres pointed out with it's the Kingpin, the half good, the half bad. I think that truly is Wilson Fisk. Like he's at a breaking point, and one of those sides is going to win. And I think all of us as Kingpin fans know which side he's going to lean towards, even though he's trying so hard to suppress that self again of himself. Like, so I'm interested to see where that goes. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. It wasn't a big meaty section, but I think there was just enough to take away from that to carry me through personally through the rest of this episode.
No, I agree. Like you're seeing, when I'm gonna get to you, Jeremiah, because Jeremiah, you brought up how like we're seeing Matt getting break down to the point where he's gonna be back as Daredevil. We're seeing that as well with Kingpin.
With Kingpin, yeah, most
Yeah,
definitely. They're doing the same thing with his character where he's breaking down, and, they're building up his violence and his.
Yeah,
anger and all that
100%,
and everything,
100%.
you know?
I was going to lead to
yeah. Go ahead.
before I got cut off with the Wi-Fi. I was trying to do Daredevil first, and then backtrack and hit Fisk. I'm going to keep my comments short because I've been having the Wi-Fi issues, but it's parallel structure. Each of them are encountering barriers to doing things the way that they're supposed to do. And obviously we see how this arc plays out at the end, but this is very much a transitional episode. They are done doing what they thought they wanted out of life, and they're going to start doing again what they know they have to do. And we're now, each of them have had 2 solid hits, first with the therapy, now with the red tape for Fisk, first with the niece for Matt, second with his client. And I have to double down. Matt was sleepwalking through that attempt to plea down the deal, and he needed to get that visceral hit. And it was done well. I was saying before, I don't know if I got that. Like Disney Plus, I mean, they are correct in everything. They're also very ham-fisted in the way that they present their material. It's true that you can both things can be true. But either way, we're now ready for both of them to really start embracing who they are. Go for it.
Thank you, Jeremiah. No, really good point. Yeah, I think this section, you've seen the breakdown of these two characters. I like it. I agree with where you're coming from, Jeremiah, and Jeff, particularly Jeff. You brought up like, I just wish the second breakdowns was way more serious. I take that more with Kingpin. I think the leak of the like garbage thing, that's a serious thing. That is something that could happen with a mayor with that. So that makes a lot more sense. Where with the whole Bradford like stealing, food is okay, but I feel like it could have been maybe more. I think it should have been actually more interesting because Jeff, you brought up you keep the story interesting. It could have been cool for him to defend Officer Powell, the man that who's the cookie crop that arrested White Tiger. That could have been interesting. That's the next breakdown.
I think that that might have been too much. Matt Murdock, when he is at his best. So like you have to really grind the characters down to who they are. Superman stories, the best ones are strange visitor, fish out, like alien accommodating to being. Batman's best stories are vengeance.
Yeah.
Daredevil, his best stories are when he is ground into the pavement and he has to crawl himself back up. What we have seen in this second wave, the second part of this, with that Bradford case, he went back to work thinking that he could just sweep all of his feelings and everything that he knows he needs to do under the rug, and that the system that he works for in the daylight is going to keep working for everybody. And yes, everything that Bradford said was accurate. Recidivism is real. The private prison industry is terrible. Everything is built to generate a repeat client into this money-making business. And that is all very much true. And Matt can't beat that. No one person can beat that. It is an insurmountable piece.
Jeremiah, I don't think most Daredevil fans really want to wax philosophical to that degree when it comes to watching Daredevil.
I'm not saying that it was enjoyable to watch. I'm saying like thematically and in a narrative format, it was fine. I mean, this episode was 2 hours of bad road in a 1 hour episode. It was not an enjoyable episode to watch. I didn't want to give that impression. I'm just saying that, when Matt Murdock is ground down against an insurmountable force and Cap.
Oh. Okay.
I would step in for Jeremiah on that take, but honestly, to tell you the truth, he's a lot smarter than I am, so I have no idea what the rest of that was going to be.
Yeah. No, I understand where Jeremiah's coming from. I think the Bradford case should be maybe more serious, like crime that couldn't shaken Matt's worldview, and that a more serious crime than just stealing like food. I mean, I don't know. So I feel like it should have been more interesting. I say if he defended Officer Powell, a crooked cop, because that easily parallel to the Punisher, which we're going to get to, because like the Punisher, he's not a crooked hero, but like he is the anti-hero that is the opposite of bad. So it could have been instant parallels. But anyway, let's.
In real life, they basically decriminalized shoplifting and shit like that in New York City, just like in California. So in real life, that guy wouldn't have gotten arrested. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would have just walked out with that shit. You know what I mean? It's funny how in the MCU, they paint these rosy pictures of places like San Francisco and New York City and all that kind of shit, you know, and the Disney with the Disney sunglass, you know, rose glass tinted glasses, you know. San Francisco and Ant-Man is clean and beautiful, and there's no drug addicts on the streets or people shooting up fucking, you know, heroin right on the street in front of kids and shit, you know what I mean, and all that.
Yeah,
You know?
well, of course, it's a typical movie, like color code, Yeah, of course. All right, let's get into back to the recap. Let's get into the Punisher stuff because I know you guys want to talk about that. So let me just get rid of this thing. Fist visits the elementary school. By the way, the Fist visiting the elementary school was funny when he has to hear the kids. Oh, what was that?
I don't know, sir. What happened?
That was you, Jeff?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Okay, that could be me. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, so let me just continue. So Fist visits the elementary school. By the way, that was funny. The fact that the kids had the scene, we built the city, and I love the payoff where the Latin or
Latvian. Yeah.
meaning also saying that, but in their language, that was hilarious. That was really a cool payoff.
Quick question: Didn't Matt use the Latvian national holiday in his conversation in the court earlier when he was pleading down?
Yes, that was a really cool payoff to like hint that. Yeah, very interesting thing to bring in that episode. I don't know if they're setting up Doctor Doom, but I don't know, that it's a very weird cultural thing to bring up in this episode. But yes, Matt did use that to the other lawyer, which was funny. So again, so during the elementary school thing, BB's the article that she wrote for the UN garbage thing is already live. Blake immediately admits to the manager Shelly that he was behind the leak. She advised him to arrange the fixed schedule to avoid the questions, right? So Fix learns from that from the manager about the leak. He's very furious about this. He holds a meeting to chew out his staff of like who leaked this story. Daniel confesses and professes his loyalty directed to the big man himself, which he responded very positively, and he say like, okay, I'll give you this one chance. If you do it again, like you're dead meat, basically, with the kingpin there. So after that, we got Daredevil himself investigating the crime scene and pursuit of missing the casing tying to White Tiger's murder. A really cool scene of him like using his like high senses to like find the missing case here, which was really cool. Very serious sleuthing here, like pathing down to the road, managing down I say he managed to find the casing in the gutter perfectly untouched, and he inspects the casing and finds the clue that leads him to a secret underground layer. So now after this is where he finds Frank's castle is back. So he goes to this like abandoned apartment. Okay, I think it's from you, Jeff. Yeah, can you please? Yeah, thank you. So sorry, I couldn't hear myself with that. So we meet up again, Frank Castle. Generally surprised to find Matt Dark. Matt, which is like he's a little gruff. After exchanging appendices to get down to business, Matt reveals that he found a Punisher logo on the bullet casing. Really cool image, and Frank, immediately calls out the bullshit fanboys, many of whom Matt tells him are comps. Very great scene there, and then this is where I will say having John Barnfield back as the Punisher was really great. Love him as the Punisher. This scene was the best scene of this episode. Just him talking to Daredevil about what's been going on. Why are you still like doing the system and all that, and like are you still like are you still thinking about Foggy and his death and all that? Like, all that was so powerful. Just the way John Bernthald's Punisher just got through with Daredevil to like admit that this is about Foggy and all that, and the you know the, it's just really incredible. Like, I love he calls Red to that's the nickname for Daredevil. That was really cool. Callback from the show. You know, are you the service of Red? The pair exchange. Conversations. Of course, Frank calling Matt of running around the Halloween costume, which is really funny but very true. And Matt pushes his buttons like, I didn't know you were a victim of all this, which was really like a big burn to Frank, and he kind of doesn't have the time for this candy ass hero shit, which was, I love that line. That was really great. And then he starts sharing his thoughts, and he like tells them what I think, Red. You don't think you came here for my help. You think you want my permission. And then Frank knows what Matt wants, and he's calling him guilty. Like, he's guilty of what failing to save Matt, Foggy and his death from Bullseye, what is true. Throughout these 4 episodes, Matt hasn't talked about Foggy. Last episode 3, his girlfriend, Glenn, Heather Glenn, was surprised that he finally mentioned Foggy during their conversations from episode 3, after winning the White Tiger case. So, Frank, tells, Matt insists that it's not about Foggy. So Frank asks him to say his name, and then he starts yelling at him, calling him a coward, which is true, telling him that he hates himself because he hasn't done anything to avenge his friend's death. And this is where Matt snaps and he punches Castle in the face, which was really brutal, but he stops himself from exiting things forward and then apologizes instead, when Frank tells him not to, because him punching him was like that was actually Matt for the first time being himself, which is really powerful. And and of course, again, Matt, since that is not about Foggy, Castle again tells him to emphasize with his pain, and a truly great special here. And I think that's the highlight that will talk about from this episode, is the Daredevil Punisher reunion. And he tells him that look, Bullseye is down, and to let the system take care of him, which he angrily tells Matt he gets to breathe the same air as we do, which is true. And so, and just to end to this scene, I love when Matt chiefly remembers his friend and finally says his name, that Foggy was the kindest, purest soul I ever met, and the guys like you and me, we can work a lifetime and never measure up to his dignity. Wow, great dialogue there. So I know this is a lot I said, but the Punisher Daredevil theme, the best thing about this episode. So now let me go to Justin. Let me go with you, Justin. What you thought about the this section, the end point of the Punisher scene? Do you love it? Were you happy to see John Temple? Plus, are you a Punisher fan?
Oh yeah. You can't go wrong with the Punisher as a character. This is the best scene of the entire this episode. This entire episode. And I would dare say the entire 4 episodes, I would say. But this is incredible. I did enjoy the discovery of the bullet casing to lead Matt Murdock to get to the Punisher. But the fact that he just knows where he's at, I think that's interesting. He's obviously kept tabs on him, and I'm sure that there's a whole story there between season 3 of Netflix series and then this one. But yes, you're right. The dialogue here is absolutely incredible. And when Matt comes to him, Punisher, and he's like, Frank, like, why aren't you serving? Like, you could serve. And the fact that he's telling John Bernthal's character, Frank Castle, who was a former Marine, like, you're not serving, like, of course he's gonna react the way he did. He's gonna react like, oh, thank you for your service. Like, it just didn't Matt didn't realize what he was saying, because he was basically he gave up being a vigilante, so he can't serve his community there. And yeah, he's kind of serving his community as a lawyer, but like, I mean, if anything, the lawyer is serving whoever's paying better, or whoever case you're winning. Like, you're not necessarily doing 100% good, but Frank Castle actually served for the country in the Marine Corps. So like, that's a huge thing for Matt to try to call out Frank Castle for not helping as the Punisher. But yeah, like the nicknames of like Red and the Candy S line was absolutely hysterical. But when Matt calls him a victim, Frank is like, "Don't call me that pussy word. Like, I'll never associate with that." Like when he said that, I was like, "Oh dang," because literally his whole entire family was murdered, and not once did he play the victim. He came for that vengeance. But John Bernthal went all out in this scene alone. Like he you could tell he gave it his all in this, and it really showed. And the fact that he let Matt Murdock like punch him, slap him, or whatever that kind of hit that was, and not do anything about it was pretty incredible, because we all know Frank Castle is just a monster of violence. And I think it's because he truly was in tune with the hurt that Matt was feeling, the guilt that he was feeling, and the fact that Matt was not able to forgive himself for what happened to Foggy. And I think that's really the theme of this entire episode, is forgiveness. Even going back to Kingpin, this counseling session, it's all to get to a point of forgiveness. Even the scene where Daniel is admitting Kingpin has to forgive him and accept him into the fold of like, okay, never do this again, giving him another chance, not firing him. That's a theme of forgiveness. And so and even like towards the end of this, which we haven't got there yet, but there's Matt Murdock comes to a moment of forgiveness, I feel like, but we'll get there. So yeah, this massive dialogue between Frank and Matt, I think it has a really good payoff, and I'm really looking forward to the grittiness that Frank Castle should bring to the series. And I think what Jeremiah was referring to in that first act with the violence, the grittiness, Frank Castle is going to bring that, because it is it's in his nature. It's what he does best. He fights all out with his entire being, and to where he's like tired, he's panting, but the will it drives him. The voices of his dead children are driving him to get the job done, and it won't allow him to die. So yeah, I love this, man. This was phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I agree, Dustin. When you say, "Oh, my son tells me go get them, Dad," like really hunting dialogue from the show, The Punisher, which was really great. And I was surprised too when he didn't punch Matt, but because he respects Daredevil, and plus he knows Foggy and Karen, especially Karen. So
Yeah.
I think that's one of the great things about their relationship. Is that they have this mutual, it's like the Batman Superman thing. It's like they are complete opposite, but they're like the same men. It's just they have different worldviews.
I mean, he didn't hit Daredevil back because he didn't hit Matt back because he was baiting him. The whole idea,
that's true.
yeah, the whole idea was that he was trying to get. You guys already covered it, man. Like, you're trying to get Matt to accept what he had been hiding from. And, Matt had that outburst. Great. Frank finally got to him. This was the part that I actually enjoyed. And I know, I cut out again last time. And the last time I did, I was talking with Jeff about with the client, and how I believe that narratively it was well done, ham-fisted, but well done. That doesn't mean I enjoy it. When Frank came out, when I saw Daredevil pick up that casing and I saw him start walking, I knew because of the recap from the last episode that we were going to get Frank Castle, we were going to get some kind of Punisher, and he did not disappoint. This was the 10 minutes of the episode that made the episode worth watching. And I have to agree with everything Justin said. And I loved the fact that Frank was the one that elicited Matt's final acceptance that the system isn't going to work. You just have to do what you gotta do, and Kingpin learns the same lesson throughout the episode. Let me see what else was missing in that. I love that line. I know you had mentioned it, but I do not have time for your candy ass hero shit from Punisher. That was the line I think I heard Justin mentioning. Okay, so Kingpin's lackey, Blake, the Gandolfini kid, he's either a fool or he's a genius. Either way, I would absolutely not have somebody like that around me ever. You cannot trust having anything like that around you. I know he claims to be loyal, and he very well may be, but that's the kind of thing that Selena, I'm sure has something to say about that. Any kind of diehard dedication, you got to worry about that. A lot more of the Batman music in the background. Dum dum. Dum dum. Daredevil's over there making a sandwich. Dum dum. The same everything. He's just standing there. I don't think you guys got far into. Did you get up to the end of the episode where
No.
the characters reconnect? All right, I'll back up off of that.
Yeah, we just stopped at the punishing because that was the big thing we had to talk about.
You stopped at the punishing. Very nice.
Yeah. Love that. I love that. Good. Thank you, Jeremiah. Okay, Jeff. What are your thoughts on the Punisher? Were you happy to see John Barnfield? And go ahead, sir.
You're muted, Jeff.
You're muted, sir.
Oh, well, my bad. I was just gonna, just voice my contribution and then let you guys try to decipher for me, sort of where I'm going, with my take. See, try to get a feel for, what kind of, how solid our friendships are here on the panel tonight, how close we are. But no, I mean, what can you say to that question? How do you feel about seeing, John Bernthal back, in the show or whatever? Obviously, it's, if you're a fan of the show, right? If you're already there, you know what I mean? You already been a part of the team, then it's an automatic, win, right? For you, you know what I'm saying? Even as just Frank Castle, it's a win. John Bernthal, even though I'll admit, which I think is important to admit, I have never watched The Punisher on Netflix either season. Yes, I know it's horrible, but I never did. I've heard enough about how the show was, and about Bernthal's performance to know that he nailed the Punisher, and I've seen scenes from the seasons on YouTube too, so I mean, I know what, I've seen, what he was like. He plays the character well. He fits the character well, he's a good Frank Castle, which makes him very effective playing the character sort of in and out of the costume. Again, a la Daredevil, right? A la Peter Parker Spider-Man, when you play that, that dynamic of, the alter ego, right? And then the actual in costume. Now, of course, with the Punisher as a character, there isn't really that big separation, right? Because Frank Castle is the Punisher. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no real separation. You know what I mean? He kills people and shit or whatever, and like does his thing when he has the costume on or not. He's pretty much just always Frank Castle, right? And plus, he doesn't wear a mask, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wears an outfit, but he doesn't wear a mask. So he's always Frank, no matter what, when he's on screen, pretty much. And I think that makes him a really, fun character to work with in a movie or a TV show or whatever, that dynamic that you can do that with him, that he is maskless, as a superhero, as a quasi superhero, if you want to call him that, whatever he is, vigilante, hero. I mean, look, the Punisher lives in his own category, in Marvel comic book lore, you know what I mean? As a character, he sort of literally like, has always, or at least always did, like kind of live or fit in his own little niche. There weren't other characters in the Marvel comics that were like him, where you could group him with anybody really, you could team him up with Wolverine, and Daredevil, and darker characters and stuff like that here and there.
I've
You know
seen
what I mean?
some really great team ups with Punisher and Captain America because they're both servicemen. I've
Yeah.
seen
Oh,
some
no.
really great team ups with those two.
No, listen, the Punisher, I don't want to deep dive the comics, but the Punisher was great in the comics, crossing over with anybody. But his crossovers with Spider-Man were fun. It didn't matter who he was with; it was always good, because it was the Punisher. I love Punisher crossovers, and he's great in Daredevil. As a secondary character, he's a great addition to the show. And so yeah, I mean, I just like everybody else already voiced. Yes, I did like and think that that Matt and Frank scene was well written and well handled and played out well and had all the the emotional and the dramatic energy and tension that you were looking for. I think that Charlie Cox and and Bernthal are good together on screen. They work well together. They have a good vibe, good energy together. In general, Daredevil and Punisher, going back to the comics, are always a good fit. They've always been a good fit together, I mean, besides that, I mean, yeah, it's great seeing Bernthal. I love the Punisher of the MCU. So, this was his introduction, right? This was his first appearance. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big thing. It really is. It has to start somewhere, right? We're not going to get that television special, without having him actually, make an appearance. So, I was happy to see him. And I think John Bernthal as an actor is probably always, a plus in anything he usually does. Certainly good in The Walking Dead. Besides that, I mean, the Kingpin stuff didn't, the stuff with his guy there, that fucked up and, the scenes with his team, his political squad and all that, his manager and all that, them talking about, the aspects of, cleaning up the mess of, of the guy's mistake and all that shit. I mean, it's somewhat interesting, but it's not, not that interesting, at least it wasn't for me. So just to add a little contrast, I guess, on the panel, I love Daredevil, and I love, I'm liking the show so far, but I felt like there was some stuff going on throughout the episode and this one, episode 4, where, things did kind of, lack.
I see Cyber still moving. Justin, you there?
I'm here.
All right. Looks like it's just us, guys. We got rid of them. Now what?
What the fuck what are you talking about?
You're in charge, Cyber. You're the next ranking member.
What are you talking about, sir?
What's going on?
Oh, wow. We really did lose them both. All right. There we go. Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea what just happened, but all right. Yeah. Wow. Talk about making me lose my train of thought.
I think he couldn't hear you, Jeff, and yeah, that's
no,
what it
I
was.
know. It's his Wi-Fi. Yes, I know.
Wait a minute. That whole thing. Jeff was still talking, and I came in and barged in on him.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
This is a full episode of me making one error after another with the Wi-Fi.
That's okay,
He
sir.
froze and Andre's throat. My fault, guys.
That's okay, sir. That's
No
okay,
worries.
sir. Yeah, I've seen worse Wi-Fi issues. I'm telling you, honestly, I know it sucks, but it could be worse. At least you're still on the show, right? No, that's pretty much it. I mean, again, you can only go so far in terms of that, the entertainment, value, as an audience member, with some of this, straight dialogue driven, these scenes and these episodes at the end of the day. And we know it's what, that it's building up. We can see it, right? But this part of the episode didn't, the energy of it wasn't the sort of energy where other than the Frank, Matt, confrontation / emotional talk or whatever. the rest of it just was not flat, but not super high energy, I guess you could say. So there's good things there, right? And there may have been things that occurred during that that part that I may have forgotten or can't remember. But for the most part, I think that's pretty much all I got.
Thank you, Jeff. I think I thought this scene with Punisher and Daredevil it felt like we were back in the Netflix world. I felt like this was top-notch writing. I thought this was the best writing for this episode 4. I agree with you, Jeff. I think this is the weakest of the bunch, but I think the highlight for me was this Punisher and Daredevil thing. Obviously, it's the shared universe thing, like the fact that we already know these characters since Daredevil season 2. A lot of people will tell you that Frank Castle was the best thing about that season 2.
It's his first appearance in the MCU though, right? And he's a character that, let's be honest here, a lot of even straight a lot of big MCU fans didn't watch the Netflix stuff. Okay, so your general audience out there, right, that didn't watch the Netflix stuff, that doesn't know who the Punisher is, I would have liked to have seen him come out of the gate with the costume on, killing people. Personally,
that's true. Yeah, hopefully we get that. I understand where you're coming from. Anyway, we'll get that in another topic. We'll discuss that. Cyber, your thoughts on the whole Punisher scene, sir? What you thought about Wilson? With the whole leak thing. Go ahead.
So when we get to John Barathol showing up as the Punisher, I was ecstatic as shit because I was thinking to myself, when the fuck are we going to see the Punisher in this? And I was so happy to see him because it was just a fantastic sequence. Your classic Punisher, especially if you're very familiar with, their kind of arc in Daredevil original series. They definitely had this very interesting relationship. And it basically pulls over into Born Again here, which I think they did a really good job with. And this sequence was just really intense, really fun, and just really gave you kind of that re-entrance of John Barathol's Punisher, which is just one of the most amazing performances of the Punisher I've seen. Now, I think that, Thomas Jane did a great job in the 2004 version. I thought he was great. Dolph Lundgren in the 80s version. Of course, they were both fantastic. We had, of course, Warzone in 2008 with Ray Stevenson playing the character. But overall, I think that John Barathol's Punisher is one of the most accurate to the comics I've seen, I feel, compared to the other previous I've seen. And, Barathol is just a great actor, and I was really excited to see him again. And I was just like, I basically leapt out of my seat going, Punisher, Punisher, Punisher. And I was just like, oh, yes, Punisher. I was all ecstatic about it. And, the exchange that they take and then the great performance by Charlie Cox, especially when he starts crying, was absolutely fantastic. And that was just a really great sequence. And I think that it really kind of, pushed the envelope of pushing Matt to go back to being Daredevil there by, saying you need to say his name, say Foggy's name. And, I think that they did a really great job there. And, of course, Frank Castle is, character of being this, this would-be assassin / kind of like vengeance master, if you want to call him that. He, definitely he's come to terms with himself of what he is. And, basically in the scene, we kind of see him, tell Matt, like, hey, it's okay to have those feelings and to move on and say his name and all this kind of stuff, basically what he was trying to get across in his own way. And I think that was very powerful, very moving. I think it really emphasized the importance of these two characters and kind of where their storyline is going to go in the future. And, him, finding that bullet was really cool, the shell casing, and it had the Punisher logo on it. And it was like, what? Why does that got the Punisher logo on it? Like, what the hell? And, and Frank's kind of like, oh, there's plenty of those out there, type of deal. And then his little area there that like where he's hiding out in was kind of a cool little man cave, as I like to call it. He had all his automatic guns up there, and it's in a locker area, and he's kind of like hidden everything. It was kind of like that. Totally feels like a Punisher area, and it makes me think of in the Dolph Lundgren one when he hides out down in like the sewers type of area, and it was like it totally made me think of that. So I think that was really done well. And giving him kind of that hiding place that he's at. And then him having the beard was really cool too, because I was like, he definitely is like Unabombering at this, at this point. I mean, he's definitely in hiding because he's not going out and doing any jobs, I feel. And so I think that was kind of a great kind of like nod to, where has he been since the end of his Punisher series. And so, it's kind of, a great little resend off to the character, reintroduction to anybody that's maybe not seen John Barathol play the Punisher at all. And so I think this scene is very epic for this episode and for the series, and reintroducing the great character of Punisher. So I think it's a fantastic sequence, really enjoyable, really well acted and played out by both. And I just really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Cyber. Yeah. Again, terrific scene. Just happy he's back in the show and the universe. So hopefully this season we see more of him here. So okay, let's wrap up the whole episode. We're at the end of the episode now. So basically we get back to Vanessa and Fix at the residence. The couple kind of like revisiting their topic on the therapy session. Because Vanessa told listen about like Heather is like asked her that if she was okay, if she's indeed safe with him. And very interesting conversation. Then she brought up Wilson brought up a story from his time as a child when he was with his dad, paralleling what Vanessa did during the therapy session. At the same time, we get Matt's apartment where he finds Heather there waiting for him. Really great scene. I do like as Justin, you brought up before, it's good that we got a new girlfriend for Matt here. I like the idea of a therapist here. It's kind of like what Batman Forever was trying to do but failed with the Dr. Chase Marina thing. The Nicole Kidman's character here is using very well. Like the fact that Matt doesn't know that Heather is talking to Fix and Vanessa, that even puts her even more danger, because Wilson knows Matt and Matt knows Wilson, and so I am just intrigued when that bubble is going to burst with that truth. And yeah, and then you see them having their it's this kind of quality time with the ladies, with both men and getting uh and this is where, like, as Jeremiah bringing up before, the breakdown of their old paths. So you're seeing them reverting back to their like old ways, and you're seeing like simultaneously. Like, I like this cut here. By the way, this episode, the weakest, but has really cool creative shots here. That I like. When earlier, I think I brought it up or not. Blake going into the cabbie, and then we go through the window and we see the rest of Bradford. That was a really great like shot composition to that scene, and this intercutting of Matt and Fitz getting back to their old ways. So as we see here, Fitz goes down to like this like mysteriously like layer, and then we see like Matt getting up, and he goes up to the roof here, and he goes to like this like small thing, and then we got speaking of layers, we got the Punisher layer, we got the Daredevil layer, I guess. We see the 5 masks on display, which was so cool. He pulls off his signature billy clubs. I was geeking out seeing the billy clubs. Like, oh, I was like, yes, he's gonna be Daredevil next episode maybe, or we'll see. And then the same time, we see Fisk going down here, and as Justin brought up earlier, we see the painting from the previous series, the white rabbit that Vanessa gave him, and that's like a very important image for Fisk, because that represents him as a individual and his psychological problems he had as a kid, and you see the blood smear that got caused by Bullseye during season 3. and we see that he captured Adam. Adam is there. He's like hasn't been like you know, hasn't take care of, so like we don't know what's going on. So like, and Fizz is having a quiet dinner. He's having like a not a healthy dinner. It's like this like sausage slash kind of vanka. By the way, I was hungry at that moment. I saw that food. I'm like, I need to get that. And he's holding Adam as prisoner at a secret location, which is crazy. And then we got cut to Matt steps onto the rooftop, gets back into training, and we got Daredevil and Kingpin back in action, which is great. And then our last image, we get back to the serial killer Muse. He has claimed another victim, and that's it. That's the end of the episode. So let me get to Cyber. Let me start with you first. What you thought about this last part of the episode? Do you like it? What are your thoughts? Maybe Cyber didn't hear me. Hold on. You got it. Cyber, you're next. I'm asking. What are your thoughts on the final section of the episode, sir? And my bad.
So basically, the end of the episode, we get that brief glimpse of this new evil bad guy in the mask, and he's extracting blood from a person that he has brought. We saw some hanging people and stuff like that, which was interesting. Definitely gives off serial killer vibe. So that was, very interesting. We have, of course, Fisk going to this place and eating a dinner, and we see this Adam guy that was the supposed affair of his wife in a cage, which, kind of gives you an idea like, oh, so that's where he is. And then we see Daredevil go back up to his little loft area where he keeps all of his Daredevil gear. And we see him repracticing using his nunchucks or bow, as you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. And kind of getting an idea that, oh, is he going to finally put the suit back on? Like, oh, yeah, nice. So I think that, this latter section, especially after the Punisher stuff, kind of sets up what the future is bringing us. I think it's a very solid ending to the episode, and gives us great hopes that we're going to get to see Matt Murdock in Daredevil suit again, and starting to kick ass again. And I think it's really fun, and I think it was just a really well done ending. And I think that I'm really looking forward to seeing where this whole Adam thing with the Kingpin goes, because that was definitely showing some like signs of like, is Kingpin going to go back to more of his traditional ways? Like, are we going to get the Kingpin from, season 1 of Daredevil? This is going to be interesting. So I'm really looking forward to what the future brings in it. It was a really solid ending.
Thank you, Cyber. Justin, your thoughts on the final section of the episode?
Yeah, Andres, you mentioned like the cinematography and the details that they're putting into this. I love how the parallels between this episode and the first episode, where the first episode had Kingpin on the rooftop, like kind of ascending to being the mayor, and Daredevil looking down at him from the street level, and looking up. And then in this episode, you have Daredevil on the rooftop and Kingpin going down into the underworld. So you have the devil of Hell's Kitchen ascending to the top to emerge, so to say, as potentially a hero. He's practicing, he's warming up, and that kind of thing. And Daredevil descending down into his lair, where he has literally somebody captive, and he's torturing them, because you could tell, because he's eating that fantastic sausage meal. I don't know what that was, but it was delicious, in front of him. But also that kind of revealed to me, because we got shots throughout the other episodes of Kingpin having like knuckles that were like red and bloody. So I think he's beating down on Adam too. I know he said he wasn't going to hurt him or anything like that, or he said he wasn't going to kill him. So maybe he's not killing him, but he's definitely beating on something. And so yeah, I just thought those parallels were cool between episodes 1 and 4, and of just kind of this reemergence. And this kind of like leads me to believe that episodes like next week we're going to get episodes 5 and 6 together simultaneously, and it is going to be like where the show I think actually starts. We went through this whole period of finding themselves and trying to do things the right way, trying to go the straight and narrow, and it just didn't pan out, and now they can be themselves. And so I think episode 5 and 6 is going to be this nice little crescendo of badassery with the violence and Daredevil kind of showing off what he did in the Netflix series, hopefully getting another hallway fight scene or a close quarter fight scene, which would be fantastic, because I don't think episode 1 truly did Netflix series justice with that bar scene. It wasn't really that crisp looking, but also having Frank Castle be a part of the next 2 episodes as well should be fantastic to add into the chaoticness that I think is coming. The only reason you drop 2 episodes in 1 week in the middle of a season would have to be for epicness, and so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, the Muse is intriguing to me. We've only seen glimpses, but I'm interested to see how they do this character, because I know in the comic books he's kind of got like this. He's like an Inhuman, and he's got a domain of he can like sensory deprivation or something like that, where he like can create a domain.
Yeah, Justin, he does have in the comics. He does have some type of superpowers.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly, and which keeps Daredevil from being able to hear him like that and use his senses, because he cuts him off from that. So I don't know if they're going to transition that into the show at all, but if they do, I'd be interested to see it. But I can see them doing something realistic and not as cool. But yeah, no, I'm episode 4. I think I'm a little higher on it than you guys were. I think there was a lot to take away from there as far as character development. But I'm ready. I'm dude, I'm ready to be let off the leash and see the action and see the chaos that made me fall in love with these characters in the Netflix series. So yeah.
No, I agree, Justin. Yeah. Hopefully we get that. Jeremiah, your thoughts on the last section of the episode?
I thought the last section paid off on everything that narratively was done very well in this story. We got everything. Yeah, I think that everybody that had spoken before had already hit the main points. I loved how both of them reconnected with their partner. I loved how both of them had their late night excursion out to be more of who they truly are, because they can't really be their true selves with the person that they're with. They can't even be themselves with the people who, in Kingpin's own words, you're even more magnificent. You're something even more magnificent now. And yet he still can't be himself with her. There's a loneliness that the two of them have that I feel is not explored enough. And I think that they might get into that. However, again, I just want some fighting. I just want some fighting. This episode was a great single example of how you can develop parallel structure in your hero and your villain in order to give both of them meaning and purpose. However, without the Punisher scene, this would have been an incredibly boring episode for me.
Yes.
Jeff had the point. Do Daredevil fans want that? No. I'll tell you something. You know what? I'm a teacher at a high school, and I asked students if they were excited about Daredevil and Disney Plus. None of them. And I work in a building with 1,300 high schoolers. I work in a building with 200 professional adults. Nobody had followed. Nobody had seen. I don't know whether it's simply, is Disney not going after the high school demo, or is it just that Marvel content on the streaming app does not yield the same kind of attention that it once did?
Well, Jeremiah, you may not have heard me earlier when I mentioned it, but I brought up the aspect of the general audience angle at the end of the day that you have to occasionally talk about when it comes to the overall conversation of, the MCU and the Marvel Cinematic
Absolutely.
Universe type
Absolutely.
deal,
So what did you guys say?
and honestly, I feel like, you've got to take into consideration how you sell these characters in these shows and in these movies and these productions. Because on all honesty, you mentioned the youth, that kids don't know about the show or don't know about Daredevil, so they're not excited for it, right? There's all these, at the end of the day, all throughout the history of the MCU, there's always been the diehard MCU fans, right? That like us that start podcasts and cover WandaVision and start covering Marvel and all that kind of shit. And then there's your loose MCU fans that will go and pay their money to go see movies just because they want to see quality movies. They know that MCU brand at least once was one where you knew you were going to get something fucking A+ positive out of your experience, right?
So what killed Marvel TV on Disney Plus that nobody?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
mean,
Jeremiah.
It's a lot of things happened. Like, it was just too much. Like,
all I can say is that the ratings for Daredevil episodes 1 and 2 were the lowest. Were lower than Ahsoka. They were lower than the Acolyte.
So upsetting.
Yeah, they were very low.
The answer to Jeremiah's question is She-Hulk. That's the answer to Jeremiah's question.
Really?
Yes.
So I was actually going to bring up She-Hulk. I was going to save it for later, but her name came up.
Why would you want to bring up She-Hulk?
No,
because she's coming. She's coming in this show.
That's true.
I'm telling you, like, they've worked together, they played together, and it wasn't so bad watching Charlie Cox go on the show that had the lighter tone. If you take this episode and you have a CGI She-Hulk walking around, it would look so out of place. I don't.
Jeremiah, if they added She-Hulk to a Daredevil TV show or whatever, and that kind of like that kind of vibe of a show, honestly, I don't even know what the fuck that would what that would be like.
She's too busy. She's too busy working at the massage parlor, so she's fine. She's good.
Perfect.
She-Hulk would not fit in even this even in episode 4 of She-Hulk would not fit in a Daredevil series.
Yeah, no, but it's entirely feasible that while he was in the courtroom haggling over the sentencing, that she could have been in the background preparing for a case. They were in the courtroom. Like, it's entirely possible that she could have been there. The jobs overlapped, the characters have overlapped, even on screen. It's just, I don't know how they would make that work in a way that wouldn't look ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she has to transform her Hulk form, and then plus, I don't think she's gonna be in the show because she's in San Francisco, the east side.
They made Daredevil do the walk of shame in She-Hulk and the She-Hulk finale. The Daredevil appearance in She-Hulk did not work for the MCU. It was not a big boost. It was actually a bad deal. It did not work well.
How so? What do you mean did not work well?
Outside
of it not being entertaining.
They made Matt Murdock, Daredevil, do the walk of shame in She-Hulk.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah,
in the Netflix series, Matt Murdock does not do the walk of shame. The dude's blind, and he still ends up banging hot chicks left and right. Like they just fall on him in his lap.
Did the walk of shame change definition in recent years? I thought that was after you had committed the act, good sir.
It is, but it's
okay.
The walk of shame is not a positive dynamic when it occurs.
Oh, sometimes you're not at your own place, man. Sometimes you got to walk. Sometimes it's shamefully.
That's true. Anyway, I think we should move on from She-Hulk. The walk of shame was weird because
it demasculated him as a character.
Yeah, well, and it didn't make sense as a joke too. Like
I don't remember it that clearly. Really, was it a real rundown of him at the time?
No.
Yeah,
No,
Justin, you saw it. Cyber, you saw it. It looked bad.
I mean, it took a lighter tone to Daredevil. So, I mean, you kind of got that tough mentality that you were used to seeing Netflix kind of erased a little bit. So,
Cyber, you love She-Hulk. You loved reviewing She-Hulk. Remember? What'd you think of the Daredevil Walk of Shame scene? Was that great? Did you enjoy that?
How much crack did you smoke when you asked that question? Because
Was
we
that-
all know. How much crack did you smoke before you asked that question? Because we all know fucking She-Hulk sucked.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yes.
So I got my wires crossed up. I
That
thought
was,
you
that
told
was
me.
an unfortunate thing that I
I
watched.
thought you told me that. I thought you told me that one time you really enjoyed doing those episode reviews.
Oh my God. No way.
Did the acolyte smack you upside your head and told you
I wish-
that or something?
I wish I had a video clip and I could play the one really crazy episode that I've told you about Andres, where we had 4 women on She-Hulk. I wish I
Yes.
could play a clip of that and you could see Cyber's face during that show. She-Hulk, dude, I'll tell you right now, She-Hulk is so bad that She-Hulk killed podcasts. There were podcasts that died. Like, they stopped doing their podcasts because they covered She-Hulk.
What? Well, that's true. I stopped my friend to stop doing regular. Oh, anyway, Jeff, what you thought about the final section of the
I don't
episode?
have much to say, sir, because I used a lot of my time just talking about general MCU stuff, which, hey, does happen when you're talking around with sitting around with some good folks, some good dudes and some fellow MCU fans and Marvel comic fans. You talk about Daredevil, and before you know it, the Punisher, before you know it, spawns into a whole fucking big conversation about shit. But we have Cyber and I had a non-verbal, non-vocal conversation once where we decided that we were no longer going to do 3-hour-long, 4-hour-long, type shows anymore. Not that Cyber usually would ever hang around for those or anything like that, which I don't blame him, but we don't go in that direction. So
All right.
and
Rating,
no,
sir.
I'm not done yet. No, I'll still contribute on the ending.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, Muse, we'll see.
Yeah.
It's the MCU. It's comic book. It's superheroes. It's comic books. It's comic book stuff. Why can't they give him powers? You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to be a human, right? But this is the MCU. It's superheroes. It's fantasy and shit. It's magic, whatever. They can give him powers if they, the Marvel Studios used to be really good at being creative with that kind of stuff with the characters. They were good at that stuff at one point. So it's unfortunate that we've gotten to a point, with the MCU where we actually even question or wonder, where they'll go in, in that direction, to be honest with you, or how they'll handle it with that character. If the character has some sort of superpower level type shit going on in the comics, that should be carried over, to the cinematic universe. I would think it makes no sense to make that character then just become human. Personally, right? I like seeing people that have superpowers. It's fun, and from what I understand, what Muse has going on is actually something that's sort of interesting. You know what I mean? It's not just, your typical Superman, Aquaman, type shit. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the character has a lot of potential, as a, sort of like secondary villain, I guess, of the series, right? Or whatever, a backup villain, or just sort of, just sort of an outside character, right? That sort of just, doesn't even fill a role, but it's still, a part of the story. We'll have to see. They didn't do that much with him there. We saw him at the end. He looks okay, right? I thought he looked okay. He looks cool. So we'll see. And then, I mean, the stuff with Kingpin and his wife, it's not really surprising that he would. I mean, you kind of had to figure that, like, he had the boyfriend, right? Or he killed the boyfriend or whatever. He's Kingpin, So like you had to go figure that was going to happen. There was something like that was going to occur. That really wasn't all that shocking to me. It's a good way to give him something to help him build up right into that more violent, that more evil sort of unethical Kingpin that we know is there. I really feel like sort of bouncing off of Justin, Jeremiah, whatever, everybody, tonight on the panel, that this season so far, season 4, I guess, of Daredevil is very much mirroring season 1 in a way. It's almost like they're going, like they want to go revisit season 1 and have that same element, that same dynamic of that yin and yang, that flip of the coin, the two sides of the coin with Daredevil and Kingpin, right? Where you sort of set, you play off them as the main focus of the show, right? As as the sort of the co-leads of the show almost in a way. Well, Daredevil's the lead; he's the main guy. But but you give Kingpin a role where where he's really like getting a lot of screen time, and he's very valuable in the show. I feel like they're setting up something that mirrors that almost. Because season 1 is all about sort of them throughout the season building up to a final confrontation or a final resolution between them. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this season is in this story is not going to go in that direction at the end, but it's sort of the buildup that they're working with, and with the story and how it's playing out in terms of the escalation is similar. It mirrors and how they're using Fisk and Matt and Daredevil Kingpin in the show so far. It very much resonates with me, with Daredevil season 1. I get a lot of vibes, which is good. So, I'm somewhat interested in how, what's going to play out with Kingpin's wife and him and, the boyfriend and all that and everything. That is somewhat interesting. It's I want to see what's going to happen with that, on the next episode. So I don't want to say it's boring. I'll just say that, the Daredevil, the Matt and Frank scene was probably, like Jeremiah said, was the highlight of the episode and carried the episode. And the ending section was one of the stronger sections of the episode, but it still wasn't anything all that exciting for me. No disrespect though, you know what I'm saying? Like, Justin, hey, if you really appreciate the episode, you know what I'm saying? I dig that. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything it all hits different for everybody. You feel, you know what I'm saying? So
and I'll just come out. I'm with you right there. It was narratively beautiful and well constructed. It was also kind of boring for me, except for that one scene.
Bottom line, I think the lack of action really makes
right. I completely agree.
They could have definitely incorporated action to tell the story too. Like action is just as good a storyteller as the dialogue is. So they could have incorporated a way to get the action to move the story along, kind of like the John Wick movies. Like their action is not just pointless action; it pushes the movie.
It also changes the energy, right? Doesn't it, Justin, of the episode in a way? You know what I mean? As far as the arc of the episode with the energy, it allows you to have those ups and downs. You know what I mean? Those climaxes. Then those to where the more dialogue driven stuff that's more on the low end is more top palatable. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right, let's start our ratings. Justin, let's go you first. What's your rating for this episode 4, sir?
I'll go ahead and give this rating a 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was going to be a little higher. Okay. Jeremiah, your
no,
rating,
Justin's a very fair. I pay attention to this stuff. Justin is a very fair guy in the ratings department.
Thanks.
Honestly, I'm gonna I know Jeff just backed him up, and I'm gonna sound like I'm riding, but I'm with Justin, 7.5. Nothing great, nothing bad, narratively tightly done. It just, when I want to watch an episode of Daredevil, I want to watch an episode of Daredevil like season 1 on Netflix. I don't want to watch another Robert Pattinson Batman 1 hour version of the grinding pain that you're going through just out of your own existence. That's that's not always Daredevil. It could be, but I need more fighting. 7.5.
Great
Awesome.
comparison.
Yeah. Jeff, your rating, sir.
Oh man, okay. I thought you were going to go to Cyber for some reason. That's okay though. I guess I don't know. I'll give it a 6. I think. There's it's good TV, right? Like it has things. The things about Daredevil that I like, right, are there for the most part, right? All the key, figures except for Foggy, of course, unfortunately. Karen's not there either, of course. So why they went in that direction, I have no idea. I probably never will. But that had to happen apparently. So it's all part of the grand plan. Yeah, I don't know. Just some poor episodes so far for the show overall. As far as 4 episodes have gone, it's the worst 1 out of the 4, and it doesn't even really hold up to episode 3 that well. They need to pick up the action and pick up the pace. With the story and the action in episodes 5 and 6. Hopefully they will. I'm sure they will. All I can really say is just that I'm surprised at the way that they structured this series and the story and everything, to where they had episode 3 and 4 come off with that same filler sort of low energy vibe, back to back. Just a surprising move to direction to go with the show, I guess.
Yeah. No, I understand. Saber, your rating, sir. And thank you, Jeff.
Okay, so I really enjoyed the episode. I thought it was a solid episode all around, and hands down, the Punisher popping up in it gives an automatic 10. 10 across the board for this episode. I thought it was just as good as this 3rd episode. Enjoyed it.
Well,
Wow.
hey, that was high. All right, I feel comfortable.
I thought Cyber was going to give it a 4 or something like that.
I'm happy Cyber went high. So I'm gonna be in the middle here. I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. I think for me, I rewatched this episode twice. That's actually the first time I did this of a show I'm watching to review. That's a rare thing. I did that with the Penguin. I rewatched that twice to be prepared. This is the first time I did that because as Justin brought up, and a lot of us have brought up, a lot of detail. One thing I do appreciate about this show, unlike the Disney Plus shows that we have reviewed, the worst ones, this show has like craftsmanship, and like there's care and detail in the storytelling, unlike a lot of Disney Plus shows. That's the thing that I'm appreciating right now with this show of Daredevil. So at least they're getting that, which is good. And yes, I agree with Saber. The reason I have this high as an 8 out of 10 is because of John Bradford Punisher. I said before, it made me feel like we were in the Netflix show again, and I thought that John Bradford he knocked it out of the park. Like he acted that scene, which was amazing. I loved that. It just, he has good chemistry with Charlie Cox. That's great. Is it a filler episode? Yeah, it's a filler episode, but it's an important filler episode. It's setting us up the story, like the important plot points we're going to get later in the series, which is important. And so I think they exceeded that, which is great. And I felt one thing I was kind of missing from the first 3 episodes was the focus on Matt and Kingpin. That for me was a big deal for this episode. So I like the new characters, but look, they're not going to be Karen and Foggy. So I was happy to just focus on Matt and and Kingpin, and then just use Heather and then bring in the Punisher into the mix. I thought that was good. So overall, I think this episode was a not great episode. I think it is the weakest of the bunch, but it's getting to the point where I'm like comfortably liking this show more than episode 1. So that's what I have to say. So I just want to say thank you everyone for really joining us. I know this was a long show, but there was just a lot to talk about. Just the return of the Punisher was a big deal. So I just want to say thank you, Justin and Jeremiah, for your patience and your time here. It was really great to talk to you guys. It was always a pleasure. Now I'm going to transfer over to Jeff to plug us out, and we'll head out. So thank you guys for joining us to Daredevil Born Again episode 4 recap and breakdown review.
Sir, I'm just a pop culture guy, sir. The number 8 is only a number in the middle of numbers on Tuesday, sir. Just so you know.
Tuesday? What? This is Wednesday. Well, no, it's Thursday now. We were Wednesday. What the?
I'm just busting your chops, bro. The number 8 is not a middle number. I'm just letting you know.
I was in midpoint. I should say midpoint or something like that. I don't know.
On the 1 to 10 scale. Anyways, so no, that's okay, sir. Great job moderating, sir. You did a great job. Anyways, but all right. Well, look, great show, everybody. My co-host, Cyber, sir, wonderful job. Great job dropping that 10 on the episode. You surprised me. And that's always good. I like to be surprised. You know what I'm saying? To reiterate, and back up Andre's, it's always great to see Jeremiah on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. Thanks for being here, Jeremiah. We appreciate you, brother. Thanks for toughing out the Wi-Fi problems and all that stuff. I know it's a bitch.
Don't know what it was, man. I got new equipment. I got a new mic. I tried using my phone as the camera up top. It was just too much, I think, to try it once. I needed to do a test run, and maybe I need a new spot in the room, in the house.
Well, I get it's never fun to have Wi-Fi issues during a show. I've been there. It sucks. It's not fun. The whole time you're stressing out, and you're like, what the fuck? But anyways, we love everybody out there. Out there that supports the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. Thanks everybody that caught us live tonight. I hope everybody out there that catches us after the live, enjoys our review of Daredevil episode 4. We are a podcast. We're not, just straight a digital format, type deal. So please, at the end of the day, we appreciate it. If you do things like follow us, potentially on the pod, maybe rate us, subscribe, all those wonderful things. We really appreciate everybody for coming out this evening. And, we will see everybody again on Friday for Basic Instinct. Cyber will be there. I'm into Pop Culture will be there. I'll be there. Matthew from Board to Watch will be back. And I think we have one unnamed guest creator from a podcast I cannot name right now that's also coming on for the first time, which could be interesting. So, anyways, let's plug out of here and let everybody check out everyone's individual content. And for Jeremiah, who I'll go first, sir, your writing and your website.
Hey, everybody, I'm even going to go and show my face during this. Oh, you know what? I don't have to because you're going ahead and sharing that. So, JeremiahKleckner.com. First thing you're going to find right at the shop. You can just scroll right down, Jeff. You can see a lot of the work that I've done. The most recent books are going to be up toward the top. One of them is a collection of short fiction, fantasy, and horror. The other one is a school-age wrestling fiction. Because I coached for 10 years and I wrestled in high school. It was a lot of fun, and it's just a hell of a sport. I know it's not for the audience here, but if you'd ever wrestled once, it's hard to get out of your blood. I recommend you pick up a copy of that because there's a lot of stories that I've collected over the years, and I've put them to work, put them to good use in a nice fiction piece. The Captain Hook stories are fantastic. Superheroes Kill, also a lot of fun. I've done a lot of work I've done a lot of work in the last couple of months, man. You guys are going to be very proud of me. I put together 3 short stories and what's going to be a long collection for something really dark, really horror, really something in that Lovecraft community, which is what my sweet spot is for writing. I'm always happy to be here and part of this. Can you scroll up real quick and check out the socials real quick?
Sir, I can scroll up and down. I can scroll up and down, bro.
I've seen you do it. Not on camera, but here, click on the links real quick. What just says right there. Pop, there we go. All of my socials, everything is there, including a monthly newsletter that I have not put out monthly. But it's labeled as a monthly newsletter. So, just expect it eventually. The website and blog, plenty of other writings there. I do have a YouTube playlist myself, just a bunch of short stories. Now that I have a better microphone, I'm going to re-record the short stories that I had read, and I'm going to do a much better job producing the audio for it so that it is even slightly pleasant to listen to. Yes, thank you guys. It's always fun being here. And the name, JeremiahKleckner.com. Very, very simple to find me.
There you go. Good friend to the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. So, who's next? I guess it should be Justin at the end of the day.
Bring it on.
Royal Geek Podcast. How long have you guys been alive and been existing at the Royal Geek Podcast, Justin? How long has it been?
We've been going since 2020, and this past week we just published our 350th episode. So, definitely check us out. We do everything in the geek world, from Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and anything else you will consider geek. There's right now, currently we're doing Severance. That's been a fun week to week going through it, breaking it down. Finale is this week. We're looking forward to that. We're also doing obviously Daredevil, Born Again. And then I got a couple of other side guys that do an anime pod as well. We talk about everything in the anime community as well. So definitely check us out. We mainly do audio, but we have been uploading that up to YouTube as well. So check us out. Give us some reviews, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. But 350th episode we just published. So I love it.
That's awesome, sir. And yes, they do have a YouTube channel. We've shown it before. So they do have a digital presence. And yeah, that's awesome, dude. You guys started before we did. And you kind of honestly mirror us because, at the end of the day, you didn't see it, but I was asking you about it in the private chat during the show. I mean, you guys have basically just been doing, a lot of episodical TV, like Disney Plus reviews.
We've done every Marvel, Disney Plus,
Star Wars, whatever. Like that's you guys have been cranking that out just like us. Just like we have, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, at the end of the day, we have very similar formats that cover a lot of the same stuff, so
we get along so well, Jeff. That's why.
Yeah. No, we have a lot of crossover. When I go through your catalog of episodes of what you guys have covered, all I see is a lot of the same stuff we cover.
Yeah, great taste.
Yeah, which is great. There's a lot of variety of opinions about, a lot of the topics we talk about here. Even just among the 5 of us, there's been such disparity. I guarantee there's definitely room for all views on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Most definitely. Anyways, but yeah, I met Justin's whole team. I just actually talked to Amano today. Well, I texted Amano today and was bullshitting with him. And hopefully, we're going to get together and do something during Andor, and and hopefully, we'll see some of those guys during The Last of Us next month. We'll have to see what Justin and I can hash together. But
we'll make it happen.
we look forward to seeing you come back. We got some good stuff coming up in April. But all right, so Mr. Cyberneticshark, sir, my good friend, my co-host, of almost 5 years. I will go to you next, sir. And please, sir, let us know what is going on at Cyberneticshark YouTube channel.
So as always, folks, if you enjoy me here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge and want to look for more content with me, you can find my solo content underneath Cyberneticshark. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, X, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky now. So Patreon, of course, which, if you want to check out my Patreon, it's amazing. Check it out. But anyway, as you can see, my most recent review there is The Monkey, which is a Stephen King adapted short story that Osgood Perkins directed. Stars Theo James, and it was a phenomenal film. If you haven't seen it or want to see anything about it, check out that review. It's really fantastic. Of course, I also finally have my Captain America Brave New World review up, so check that out as well. We'll be having more stuff up for you guys soon for trailers and for movie reviews as well. Finally, some new trailers have come out, so I'll have more trailers to talk about. If you haven't checked out my shorts recently, most recent short, of course, is for the film Bubba Hotep. If you have not seen that film, definitely check that out. Or if you haven't seen the Japanese horror film from 1999 called Audition, definitely check out that short too as well. Very interesting Japanese film. And I'll be having more shorts for you guys. I went and saw 3 movies today, so I'll be having some more shorts up for you guys soon and some more reviews eventually. So keep your eyes out for that. And as always, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for being a part of the MC's Living Edge. Thank you for watching our solo content. And if you get a chance, go check out mine and all the other guys on the panel here. Subscribe if you haven't, and watch our stuff. And we appreciate you guys. And we'll keep on doing this until you say we don't want you anymore. So thank you very much.
Cyber, you're not. That's all good that you watch 3 movies in one day, but until you start watching 3 movies at the same time, like Time Cop, you know what I'm saying? That I'm not going to be impressed. You know what I'm saying?
That doesn't impress me at all, anyways.
No, I do find it impressive that you watch 3 movies in one day. To be honest with you, I'm not going to lie. That is a lot of fucking movie watching. You and I mentioned that to you before in the past. We've had that conversation. My thoughts.
He's a career man. He's a career man. He's got to make that content.
Cyber has three movie watch days, like on an occasional basis. It's not even just like a one off. It happens like on an occasional basis. He does it. So Anyways,
depends on how many movies came out.
I was going to skip Andre the Pop Culture Guy because I'm sure he doesn't have anything new going on Andre the Pop Culture Guy channel presents or anything like that. But
Very funny, you damn person. Anyway, hello everyone. This is Andreas Pop Culture Guy, the guy that moderate this episode, Daredevil Board Game, episode 4 breakdown and recap. Anyway, I recently posted a birthday tribute. Of course, Kurt Russell's birthday was this week, so I'm honoring his role as Snake Plissken from the Escape films, John Carpenter. So check that out. I also check out my chair reaction with this other guy named TrueKnowledge. We did the Endor and Last of Us trailer reactions of season 2 that are coming up in April. So please check that out. Plus, I did some shorts, movie clips so far in the shorts. I did one for the X-Men First Class, the Wolverine cameo, the Days of Future Past one where Professor X has dropped the F-bomb, and the endings of the Tim Burton movies, Batman 89 and Batman Returns. And so tonight, after this live stream, I'm going to post the Batman Forever ending. And this Sunday, me, Jeff, and hopefully Cyber as well, can come together to talk about the next live stream review for March. That's Ace Ventura 2, When Nature Calls, for his 30th anniversary this year. It came out in 1995. This is the rare role where Jim Carrey reprised his role, besides the Dr. Eggman from the Sonic films. So please join us next Sunday, of course, March 23rd, 2025, at was it Easter time, 9:45 p.m. We're gonna have a fun time. Plus, we got the new trailer for the John Wick ballerina, so that's good. We're gonna react to that. So we got plenty to talk about. So that's all I have this week. So this week I'm gonna hopefully post a honor tribute for Bruce Willis. His birthday was today, or yesterday. So check that out. I'm gonna hope to do a reciprocal slash review on Escape from New York and a movie tribute for it as well. And same thing with Ace Ventura 2 as well, movie tribute and review. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. This was a blast, guys.
Daredevil is such a fun character to talk about that we went for 2 hours and 37 minutes or whatever, just bullshitting about Daredevil.
Yeah. It's kind of scary. Somehow the half-bake is climbing to the reviews. So I'm like, what the hell? But yes.
I'll tell you right now. Watch it. The rewatch of Half Baked after seeing it again for the first time since I was a kid was not a great experience. The movie
Not a fan of the rewatch, huh?
It doesn't hit the same. It really doesn't.
It doesn't. Not even Jon Stewart.
It wasn't. It really wasn't very good when it first came out, and now it's not. It's just not very good.
No, it doesn't hold. It doesn't hold up.
No, honestly, it's like the worst of Chappelle at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Next time we'll review Undercover Brother. That's his best role.
Anyways, all right. So before we get out of here, as I already mentioned, we love everybody out there that has some love for the MCU's bleeding edge at the end of the day. But Cyberneticshark, sir, let me ask you, sir, are you pumped for Basic Instinct on Friday?
I guess.
Good sell.
Okay.
Good sell.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
excited
it's a-
for Banks Exit. Come on.
I mean, if you're talking about, is it, great to talk about nude women? Yes. It's fantastic.
Okay, let me reframe my question. Do you think it's possible that Basic Instinct could possibly make out to be for a good movie, for a good review, a fun review?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
There you go. I do too. I agree with you on that. We're on the same. We're on the same mind. Basic Instinct is one of those films, review-wise, where it might not be an actual, all-star classic film, but when it comes to reviewing it, talking about it, I think it's going to make out for a good show.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna set the line of 45.5 minutes of how long you guys talk about the across the leg scene. That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna take the over. I'm taking the over on that all day.
I'm gonna call it right. I'll call it right now. The Basic Instinct review will probably be like 2.5 hours long at least.
I believe it.
I'm sure it will. There's a lot to talk about. Again, Basic Instinct is not the greatest film, but there's enough that goes on in it, to where it's pretty interesting to talk about. For some reason, I watched it a lot when I was a kid. I was really into it.
For some reason that we can't talk about.
It wasn't the vagina scene. It wasn't the vagina shot scene. I wasn't just like replaying that scene over and over again.
It wasn't Dennis Nedry.
As a kid, at like 12, 13 years old, I loved just watching the whole movie. Like at night when I go to bed, I would watch the whole film. I liked the movie.
I like he called Wade Knight's character Larry from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I like
either that or Newman. That's the only way I really know that guy.
I like Michael Douglas. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you not like Michael Douglas?
Yeah, he was good.
I like Michael Douglas. Jeanne Triplehorn was hot back in the day, right? So I liked her. I would have honestly, I would have rather banged her from Basic Instinct than Sharon Stone.
What?
Well, Sharon Stone's gonna kill you, so sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like if you want to factor that in.
Well, Jeanne Triplehorn's character had that crazy freak, vibe going on of her, like.
And she wouldn't stab you. So there are multiple bonuses to not being with Sharon Stone in that movie.
There you go.
So we can talk about that on Basic Instinct.
Right.
Yes. Let's save this for the Friday review.
Cyber, you think we should maybe save our thoughts for Basic Instinct for the Basic Instinct review? Oh,
yes.
Well, no, we're selling the product right now. Like you asked Cyber whether he was excited about it. It's like, we're selling the product. We're doing what Justin said here.
This is a teaser, man. This is what this is.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Well, that closes out our review of Daredevil episode 4. Again, thanks to everybody that came out and guest with us. Justin, Jeremiah, we love you, man. Appreciate
Sorry about those Wi-Fi issues, everybody.
Oh, it's okay. It happens.
It's first
Andres,
time for everything.
Great job tonight, Andres. Wonderful job. We love everybody out there. God bless you. Like I said, we'll see you on Friday. We'll be back next week. for episodes 5 and 6. I'll be moderating. So hopefully I'll do as well as Andre did tonight. But until then.
When it comes to the matter of baby Jesus, Joseph, you are not the father.